calendar pages are starting to turn. A special month for which we both yearn. It's not just a day, it's a 30-day spree. A Filipino birthday for George and for Heidi. Heidi says, honey, just a small, simple affair. George just nods, pulling out is good but wrong, what a pair. Cause a simple party in the Philippines, you see, means the whole barangay is coming for free. Happy birthday month to George and to Heidi. From the streets of Manila to Angeles City, it's a party. Heidi's cooking treats and making plans. George is testing the mic. It's a whole month of chaos in the land of Philippine Antics life. Happy birthday, George and Heidi. Happy birthday to you. So grab a red horse and plate of spaghetti. So sweet, a Filipino American birthday that can't be. Planning starts early with the family debate. Who's making the lumpia? Don't be late. Tita Charo's bringing her famous leche flan, while Uncle Bob's in charge of the adobo pan. Heidi's in the kitchen a little bit stressed. George just chuckles.
Honey, don't you worry, my dear.
In the Philippines, leftovers is a word you'll never hear. Happy birthday month to George and to Heidi. From the streets of Manila to Angeles City, it's a party. Heidi's cooking treats and making plans. George is testing the mic. It's a whole month of chaos in the land of Philippine Antics life. Happy birthday, George and Heidi.
That's really good. Morning, guys. Magandang masading araw, mayang buntag sa tanan. How are you guys doing today?
Good morning, guys.
Oh, this is my my usual what do you call that? Hairstyle, by the way.
Yeah, look at mine. I took a bath this month.
Yeah, I know. It's the priest hairstyle. But so says as they say.
Good morning, guys. Happy 1st of July. It is officially our birthday month. We both have birthdays. Our grandson has a birthday. Our son has a birthday. A few of the cats have a birthday. It's the 4th of July. And for those that have been with us for the last, we've been doing the channel for more than 4 years, but before that, that follow us, we always do a bunch of stuff and do some crazy stuff on air and do some outings and everything. So we appreciate all of the support and the people. So we're letting the room build up. But today's discussion is an open discussion. Let us know where you guys are at today. Shout out, like if you're freezing, anybody got any cold weather out there, your weather. And let's get the algorithm going. I see Ted MB, Grammy's got a groove on, Black Rample, and Linda, good morning. We will get to you. But today is Unwinnable Battles. And there are several things that I feel that no matter how much I've kicked and fussed about, it's not going to change. And I think it's worth the discussion. Me and George was talking about that. So I have 4 of them that I feel are out there. And there's kind of a side subject. I don't know if we'll get to it or deal with it today, but welcome everybody. Michigan, 85 degrees, huh? And thank you guys for your actual support. Consider our membership or support for our birthday month. That's the scan up there for PayPal. And I think there should be something on for the stickers as a competition too. So help support George's funeral funds, our poor plan on retirement, and what else? Your doghouse funds.
Right. Robert Goodson says, happy birthday month. Mine is on July 16th. Wow, that's awesome. You're Cancer. Good old 69. Not the age, the logo of Cancer.
Yeah, that's really close
like
to George's birthday. So,
Yeah.
yeah, most definitely. MB is in the house. Hello, PA Squad. I really want to continue watching One Piece, huh? Let's see what show I'm watching at 2100. I guess maybe it's live. Like I watched The Gilded Age. I got to the season 3, which the first few episodes of season 1 I was really bored with, but it really picked up. But then I realized they're releasing one at a time and not the entire season. And also what I realized on HBO Max here, they don't have certain shows. Like they're showing in the United States that they have, I think it's called Mariska. There's something about her mother. It's called My Mom Jane or something. It's not here. Desperate Housewives are not here in the Philippines. They cut certain shows that they feel they don't want people watching here for some reason.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who have like, what do you call that? The
VPN.
Surfshark VPN.
It
Yeah.
doesn't help.
That's why I was explaining the HBO. That doesn't work on HBO. It works on Netflix, but it doesn't work on HBO.
Well, here's the thing that I discovered in messing around. What it is if you sign up for Netflix in the United States, then you have the ability to flip over. Once you sign up for the one here in the Philippines, and then we tried to VPN it to another one, there's a cost difference and everything else. They're on to that. I couldn't do it the other day. The same with HBO and Max. Only if you're in Japan and then you have signed up in the United States, then it'll pick it up back in the United States, and then you'll avoid the one in Japan. I don't know how people get around it, but the VPN is good for like getting into Social Security or government sites and stuff that, where you have to switch over and make them think you're sitting in Florida or something. Banking, it helps.
Yeah, well, they've been kind of, what do you call that, locking down on stuff, even though it's unnecessary.
Yeah. And it's also pretty close to 4th of July. I've been trying to get George to hang the flag. I still think I'm going to have you use light tape to hang the flag up behind us. And that other set of curtain came yesterday.
The Trump flag.
Yeah, we was going to hang Ted's Trump flag out front, and George says that's not a good idea. That's the one where he was running for election.
Yeah,
So
it was. We have a Trump flag and we have the American flag.
because even those that do like them are starting to say, "Huh." So and we're really pretty independent, although we talk. He's the president, and it's what's going on. And George says, "Yeah, I don't think that'll fly here."
Yeah, I mean, again, if it was Obama, we'd be talking about Obama. If it's Biden, kind of like Biden, when Biden was president, we talked about Biden.
We pretty much cover
and a lot of people think that we're like, no, that's not it. It's because he's the president. Of course, we're going to talk about him.
Actively, what's actively going on. Okay, here you go. I already got George.
I have no clue what this is, so I'm not going to pretend.
It's Jiffy Popcorn.
Kind of looks like it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to put it up so people can see it. They can't see you.
What is this? It even has a note. Well, that's why I was trying to.
Well, you can take it off the thing.
Yeah. So what's the note?
I made with my little hands, and I made the chocolate.
There is a note. It says, "Roses are red, violets are blue. This birthday cake may be fake, and I love you. These nuts, happy birthday, dude."
All right.
That's what it says.
So it's a lemon cheesecake cake, but it's still got the breading in it. It's more of a pound cake. And then it's got dried strawberries and blueberries, and that is homemade Oreo dark chocolate with garlic nuts all around.
Where's your Oreo? You didn't bring one up?
Yeah, right there. That's what's in here.
I know that, but I'm talking about a whole one.
And the garlic nuts.
Is this sugar free?
Pretty much, yes.
No. I'm not joking, because it doesn't taste like sugar free. Like,
well, I don't.
Like Heidi made these Oreo cookies. They don't look like Oreos, but I'll tell you what, they taste exactly like Oreos.
Yeah. So
they're actually really good, and they're sugar free.
So basically, it's made with stevia.
It's kind of weird. I know it looks shiny and all, but when you eat it, it tastes and like has the consistency, like in your mouth. Like your brain's telling you that's an Oreo cookie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not joking.
But basically, it's desiccated toasted coconut, so it crunches like Oreo cookie.
You can feel the grit in your mouth and everything. It's amazing. It's like, what?
And with a drop of mint in it, the mint gives it that Oreo, whatever that off hydrogenated. So I'm freaking Willy Wonka right now. I've been making chocolate, but yeah, so it actually,
it's really good,
because it's really expensive. Yeah, the garlic nuts are meant to offset it with some sort of savory, but I threw those nuts on. I threw these nuts on. There you go, George. let me wash down my sugar-free cake with sugar.
Right.
So, but thank you so much, Robert, for the happy birthday. Good Maniac Monday and the last day of June. Oh, that's right. You guys are still stuck in June, so we creeped up on you guys. June specific
it's
daylight
Christmas
time.
in July.
Yeah, we're there now. Yeah, so now they officially, we'll probably start seeing the selling of everything.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then after that, it's
Well, we're going to the mall.
October. So when is it
Yeah.
officially?
We plan on going to the mall this week or this weekend, so there's some special occasions coming up.
When is it? September?
What's that?
When does the burn month start? September, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's coming, guys. That's why we made that song a couple
Green
weeks
Day.
ago. Yeah. Michigan is showing 85 degrees.
Ohio. No, Ohio.
Oh, Ohio is in the house, yeah. Adam Zaw, good morning. Radar, what is going on? 80 in
80.
Ohio. It's been fairly okay, but I think yesterday it got creeped back up to
It was
90.
really cool this morning. But here's the thing: it's very deceptive. Like you can have a cold night, like use the sheets cold, and then when the sun comes up, it's like sweltering hot. So it's kind of you don't know really until it actually hits you.
Yeah. July 20th.
Oh, really?
There's
July
a lot.
20. Wow.
A lot of our people have birthdays
Slick Rick?
in July. They're Cancer. No, yeah, a lot of them. Yep.
Yeah, Slick Rick is.
That's why we decided
Hey,
a birthday
Dallas.
month. Hi, K Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slick Rick. Yeah, no, a lot of people. There's several of them that have sent us even messages saying their birthdays are in July.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Happy. Yeah, there it is. Looks like.
I really never calculated this. So
Hi, Sarah.
if we were mostly born in July, when did our parents do the bembang?
Thanksgiving.
Is that what it is? I mean, I never calculated it before in my entire
October,
life.
Halloween. It got freaky near Halloween.
Oh, okay.
October, November, December.
So when
January,
you hear the
February,
word
March,
bembang,
April,
that's what
May,
it means.
June.
Bembang.
Yeah, because it's 9 months, which would put you at July, so possibly somewhere near the Halloween month.
Yeah.
There's a vision for you. Your mom and dad in bed.
Oh, trust me, I've imagined it several times. That's how I get off.
Yeah, you a freak, Sarah.
Oh, mom. Oh, dad. Yes. I'm joking, of course.
Just giving out that content, aren't you?
Right. I used to watch it, do it while I'm, they what it is they go in the bedroom when I was
had a
kid,
threesome with my sisters one time.
and then they would turn on like the Ted Koppel show and turn up the volume. So whenever I hear the Ted Koppel show, I get horny.
I asked you to participate in the show. This is not participating. Eat your nuts or something. Eat these nuts. I didn't even bring you. Here, try and see if you can taste the lemon in the cake.
You didn't even give me like
Use your fingers like all the other Filipinos.
What the frick? Not on dessert. Nobody eats dessert with their hands.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Okay. Just try it. I thought it was hilarious. He is doing fine. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. That was kind of... Dakota. I definitely don't remember Dakota. We're pretty memory on who was up in the room, even when
like
it's a
a
couple
spot. Oh my
hundred.
god, that looks good. Yeah, it does. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll slide it over my mouth like this.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Oh, by the way, that's homemade chocolate sauce too.
Wow, everything's homemade. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm cooking everything from scratch,
Yeah,
like every
I
single
know.
thing, mayo, everything. I'm a freaking condiment queen now. Condiment.
It tastes like
You should taste the lemon, and it's more like a lemon pound cake, but the chocolate with
that's what
it
it
is.
tastes like. Yeah, the consistency and everything. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to look into making some chocolate bars for George, and I had a list of them.
But how much does this cost?
Like nothing.
$10,000. I'm joking.
I made that in the Instapot. So on top of that, it only took 30 minutes, so I didn't even put it in
Instapot or the rice cooker?
of an Instapot, basically.
Rice cooker.
Okay, so listen to these: a coffee espresso with saffron chocolate, calamansi and wasabi zest inside of a white chocolate bar, ube and shredded coconut and pink salt on white chocolate. Then a dark chocolate, mango and chili flakes. Yeah, she likes that.
Should I take it from her?
Bacon, cranberry, and dark chocolate with nutmeg and almond on top of that chocolate bar. The bacon candy bar, baby. I'm going to make you this for Christmas. White chocolate, candy cane, and Tandawai rum. That pretty
I'll just take that as it is.
Tandawai rum, dry bananas, dry coconut, and sea salt in white chocolate. I'm a white chocolate, which technically white chocolate is not actually really white chocolate, just milk powder and cocoa butter, which it's still got cocoa butter, which still puts it into the chocolate. But basically, a lot of people use other oils and stuff. But thank you, AI Coconut Guy. We appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, coconut guy.
So what do you think of the wasabi one? That'd be interesting with calamansi zest.
That would be interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Gio, what's going on?
Yeah, I was at a store the other day, and I was staring.
I said say hi to Gio.
Oh, hey, Gio, how you doing?
How rude.
I was at a store the other day, and I was staring at
Check
their...
it out, Gio's birthday is in July.
No way. Oh, awesome, Gio. That's good to hear.
But that puts him
He's
off
not
of
a cancer. He's
right.
Not a cancer.
I'm beyond the cusp.
He would
what's
have
the other one?
cancer traits. He would be like you, like a Leo.
I'm actually probably Leo. I'm born within 8 hours.
Yeah, so Gio's like a Leo Cancer hybrid. Yes, he's a chimera.
Yeah, I show both, but then again, I'm by everything, man. I like to buy things, bipolar, buy ADHD, bye, get out of my face, bye.
Edward.
Kick the cat across the room, bye.
Edward.
Hey, what's going on? Happy Canada Day, huh?
Hey.
Yeah, what's up with the Canada thing? Looks like that thing's up Trump again on the tariffs. Something about the electricity. Looks like they're going to hit 30% on them 4 states, New York, Michigan. They're going to get
there shouldn't be a tariff on Canada, period. So.
One of the best friends we ever had.
Correct.
Still
exactly.
do have.
I mean, for crying out loud.
I still believe in people should be able to go wherever.
You should always have a very good, what do you call that? Political relationship with your neighboring countries.
This land is your land. This land is my land. I go where the hell I want. Just leave me alone. I don't need no visa. I'm a human being. I can go wherever the hell I want. I mean, I don't get why people get restricted and get charged exuberant amounts and all these stuff. It's beyond people making money. And I get that. I mean, okay, check people for their bad backgrounds and keep people out when they arrive at the country. But to tell people they can't enter a country, I think is really wrong. The land, I mean, was God-given, period. And I've always had that strong belief in immigration. But I mean, immigration is in people should be able to go where they want. Get on a horse and go.
Well, no, I don't. A country without borders is not a country. I disagree with that.
Yeah, but people still should. It's still open land.
Well, there's not. Okay, I get the idealism. Like
they should qualify them as they come in, but it shouldn't be where Filipinos have to go through an arm and leg to get
That's
them
not the problem. I mean, it's kind of like this. Back then, it was like that. There's a reason why it's like this. It's because, again, people abuse the system, and then they do bad things. And that's why it's not like that anymore. It used to be like that. I mean, back then,
Well, you tell Jesus.
Back then, your passport's just a piece of paper, basically. Well, I mean, it's
Look
still
at
a
her,
piece of
baby girl.
paper.
She's looking.
But I mean, they just look at it. They don't scan it or nothing, and
Look at her.
you
Look at her
know,
sniffing your cake. Here, pick her up a minute.
they don't even check your luggage.
Well, you got my point. I'm
But
just
well,
saying
that's
that
my
if
point. My
people,
point is, they
I'm not
didn't.
saying to stop scanning people.
I know that, but
and-
what I'm saying is, even back then, they didn't even check your luggage. Point is again, back then it was more open, but people abuse it and do bad things. That's why things are the way they are now. And what are you doing?
yeah, don't let her have that. Yeah, don't let her, because the garlic
You can't
peanuts.
have the
You
cake.
can't have that, sweetie. No, she was sniffing from a distance,
You can't
and
have the cake, sweetheart.
she's at that kitten stage where she'll eat anything, and she can't have the chocolate. But when I was making that chocolate yesterday, it was all over the place. It was all, and they were trying to get to it, and I'm like, usually they know not to.
No, mommy says no. Mommy says no. You might get sick.
Yeah, no, she can't have the garlic peanut. She can't have the chocolate. Good morning, Angelo.
Oh,
What?
shoot.
I mean, that's not your sister. After you said that, Black Rample, what are those 3 unavoidable truths that nobody talks about? Yes, I will get to that here in a few minutes. Let me get through a few people here. Jack Frost said Poppy's Bar. Yeah, I was going to talk about that, but
Yeah,
it's not the main subject. But yeah, somebody
gone.
was over there in the one on Walking Street.
They're
There's
gone.
nobody there. So yeah, it was confirmed that they're nowhere to be found, and according to sources, that the employees are unpaid and there's some debts now.
But hey, if you want to book a room, you can still book a room.
There'll be another bar.
I'm not joking.
No, it stays open. They didn't shut it down, so that will stay open.
Yeah,
No problem.
that's what I'm saying.
People
yeah.
can even go in and book, but it doesn't mean it's
Which is-
available. That's sad.
kind of.
Well, it's because they didn't shut the Agoda accounts down and all of
That's
that,
my
which
point.
is messed
That
up.
means people can book rooms.
Right, so it's kind of, but yes, they're both closed. There's the bar and then the bar and the restaurant. So yeah, that's yeah, Oreo. Yeah, but it's expensive. That's my problem. And they add a bunch of chemicals to keep a lot of those sugar-free or ones like I can control that it's like stevia or the sugar that I want versus some of them just outright use the ones that to me seem to be like really bad for you, and you can control the amount and the ingredients. But yes, I've had those before, that company. Yeah, Black Rample says, yeah, I hear, yeah. No, both of them are closed. The one on Walking Street was empty. So, yeah, Geo's Leo, yeah. Yeah, I was wondering about that. We said that in the last live stream that I don't know how they ran this long. It seemed like they were always empty. The bookings were open in the
Actually,
beginning.
it wasn't long enough, but I guess they followed the rule. One year.
I think it's been more than a year.
Been more than a year.
Yes.
Oh.
Probably closer to 3. Because remember, they opened it, seemed to be right at the tail end of, I think it was, we were here a year and a half, 2, when they opened it. We've been here 4.5. Yeah, so they've been at that location for a while. And we were like, who would open a restaurant right at
that's
the
right.
pandemic?
Because we did. No, I would say about 2 years. 2 years and a half. Yeah, so you're right. But almost 3 years.
Yeah, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd are the cusp. I was born on the 22nd midday. So it's, yeah, because I think the 23rd is Leo. And so it put me so close. And I definitely show both traits. But like they said, if you're doing horoscope and you do all that, the only real way to find that out is not reading random cosmopolitan. There are charts and other things that determine you down to something specific, and I could never figure those out. My mind just couldn't go there. Angelo had fudge brownies, chocolate ice cream last day also. The only thing that I found with making that chocolate sauce, being it's made with cocoa powder, which is the only way to do it, is it didn't seem to put enough of a chocolate taste to my coffee. So I tried some of that the other day, and I could
Hey, where's my coffee, woman?
Get your own coffee. You had the opportunity. You chose other elixirs this morning.
Make me a sandwich.
Ain't nobody making you no sandwich. I made you nut cake. These nuts.
Still not a sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Put these nuts all over your face later. Hey, what's going on, Kai Tech? New York sounds a mess right now. Yeah, there's a lot going on, most definitely.
Well, it's kind of like, okay, the problem with New York is you have to remember that they put themselves in that position. And then again, I'm not saying that's neither bad nor good, but what I'm saying is the ones that are complaining, you have to remember that it's a majority vote. You know what I'm saying? So if the majority of them voted for that, and that's what they asked for.
Yeah. Feels like a Sunday sermon with those earrings and George. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about them. I've got like a jewelry box of stuff, but
Especially
it
now
sits here.
today
Yeah,
I have that white thing.
yeah, they've been sitting here by the computer. I usually have 2 or 3 pairs. Plus, I've been, my face down in the Bible and talking to AI about it and learning more and more about Jesus. I'm always curious about different things, but yes, I'm very proud to wear these.
We can play
Although,
Enigma music in the background or something.
yes, Canada Day. Oh, Sarah. Yes, Sarah says I'm Leo. So was my husband. I don't even ask. That's like me and him both being Cancer, and our birthdays are like a week apart. It's like an emotional roller coaster and like a PMS bitch here. Oh, no response on that one. Queen PMS.
Huh?
Both of us. Please, bitch. Go ahead, say it. Just say it. Say, oh, please, bitch.
Oh, please, bitch.
There it is. Freedom of movement for humans. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm not saying no borders because they're never just going to not check anybody in.
Well,
but if you're, it shouldn't be America that should be able to go everywhere. I mean, we're able to hit almost every country without
that, it was necessary.
But why is it that Americans can go wherever the hell they want? They don't get stopped anywhere.
Huh?
Americans can pretty much, their passport hits more
Not
countries.
anymore.
It does somewhat. It's the highest.
I said
one.
not anymore.
They're not the highest? Who got
I'm saying eventually they're going to stop that because of what's going on.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just presenting that it's not
I mean,
fair. I believe
the America
in
back
equality.
then and the America now, again, now I'm not saying anti nor pro, but what I'm saying is it will make changes in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, back then Americans are welcome, but if that country feels that, Americans don't like us anymore, they're not gonna be as open.
Canada is going to close their borders.
Correct.
I get that. No, I'm very understanding on that. Okay, so we're going to get to this list and see how we can get George all wound up here in a little bit. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one out because I don't want to. All right, so the unwinnable battles in the Philippines. Don't get me going on expat vloggers and expats not getting along and the scams and all these side things that are just unwinnable. Like these guys keep overspending their money on these women and then they get taken for a ride. But anyways, the first one that really was just going to be a subject by itself is being overcharged in the skin tax thing, hence the thumbnail. And here's the thing, if you go to certain areas, even Filipinos are getting overcharged because they're in a certain area, or George, OFW stamped on his face because of his clean, clear English and the way he dresses. I would probably say 2 out of 10 Filipinos kind of dress like he does, full clothes, full tennis shoes. The rest of them are dressed a certain way. They look like they're on vacation all the time. The Filipinas look like they're in pajamas half the time. They're casually dressed here. So you can kind of tell when somebody's out of place, or like me, oversized white woman, and I just scream skin tax. So when I go to the market or I go to buy something, I tend not to like to go on my own for multiple reasons. But if I bring George along with me, then I still think that we're being overcharged. Ah, crap. Can I upload a video? I forgot to upload my video.
You can, but it will do that weird thing. That's why you have to.
Okay, so I have to be prepared to pay it now. So I'm going to play you guys a video. So mind that there'll be a pause for a minute. And being overcharged for the foreigners, whether they take the trikes, whether they take a cab and the meter's not on, that's why we do Grab, because it says it right on there. If it's off by $1 or $2, it's because of the distance and traffic. But so many times they'll show up for tours and they get overcharged, or they show up at hotels, they already paid, they'll make them pay again. And it usually wouldn't happen with the Filipino. And also I can appreciate, looks like Brian Philly in the Philippines. I watched a good video of him. I had the cutest puppies. They're just so freaking cute. He talked about the paying tips and stuff. And Filipinos just rarely tip. They will not. And as Americans, we tend to do it. But I know that's off on a side tangent. But the video I'm going to show you is for news purposes only. Okay. And I'm going to show you where this guy is going off. As I'm to understand, he didn't want to pay the guy the 150 pesos. 150 pesos for getting in his trike, and he starts swinging. I have the footage of this. So
Yeah, for the record, I always give him my tip, and I always swing.
don't take that coconut oil tip from George. This greasy little slimy hands. Okay, because Mama didn't take it in the lips. It's on his tips. So I mean, never mind. Don't even want to go there. So let's get that media before we go way too far here. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Is that supposed to be like Mario?
No. Come on, touch me, babe. Dun 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 dun. What was that promise that you made? I'm gonna love you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know why. No, I know, but you reminded me of somehow like Joker. Then you moved the new Joker.
The video is coming up. So when it starts playing, oh, you're gonna have to put your headset. Is it still on?
Why?
You won't be able to hear the audio to hear what they're saying. It does translate it across the bottom.
Yeah, we had an audio mishap just right before
It's
the
connected
live,
to just the head. We didn't want to restart the computer.
We don't want to mess with the audio. We might mess up the live.
So you'll see him with the headset on. It looks like, I know even it's just stuck on the headset right now, and if we restart the computer, we would lose everything. Okay.
You have to. No.
There. Let me know to pause it. Here, I'll pause it for a minute. Real quick. So this old guy got out of a trike. I thought he was there to see his woman. Maybe they were fighting or something, because there'll be some women in the background at the door. It looks like he knows. I think at one point he mentions his girlfriend or wife. I don't have the audio to listen to it, but I know that they told him something about taking away. He tried to take away the keys of the driver, so he was getting aggressive. And here in a minute, he'll get aggressive, but this is all over being overcharged at 150 pesos. This is the way you do not want to act.
Well, if you're going to fight over 150 pesos, you probably shouldn't be here.
That's it.
I mean, I get some of you will say, well, it's the principle. I get it. But guess what? It's not your territory. And what I'm saying is, if the roles were reversed, I'm the one over there in the U.S., and somebody pulled this off on me, I'm kind of like, it's not my area.
Right. You can say something.
I don't know what's going to happen to me if I stay in, you're in an area which you're not familiar with. You're in unfamiliar territory. You could be putting your life in danger for what, $3? I mean, come on. Right.
There's a little bit more I didn't play about.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just have to know when to pick and choose your battles, or if they're trying to charge you $20 for a $4 item on Lazada, which I've had that done, you walk away or you pay for it. So this is a no-no. This is an instant deport. Again, this is for news purposes. We have disclaimers. There's no reason for that.
Ikaw pa yung nakayaw
Yeah,
niya
I
kay
can't
ikaw
tell
na
what
yung
the rest of
nakayaw.
it is if you want to translate any of that.
Oh, isip pa kayong Amerikano. Siya pa
Can you
yung
understand what they're saying?
sadan, siya pa yung
I can't hear you. Is it done?
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, for those of you who want to know what they're saying, okay. Like Heidi says, it was over the fare of 150 pesos, and he didn't want to pay it. And then the American, as they say, he took the keys of the driver. Now, according to the Filipinos, it's basically the American is in the wrong. Not because they're siding with the Filipino. Is if you, this is my take from what they're saying. I mean, what they said is what Heidi said. It's basically that. But the way they said it, the way people say things, it could be the exact same words, but there's like, basically they're saying is like, you're the one who has the advantage, and you're the one taking advantage because you're the one who took the keys. And if you think about that, you're like, yeah, because it doesn't weigh the same. So you're trading 150 pesos for a car, you know what I'm saying, or a tricycle.
So basically, he snatched his keys because he didn't want to pay.
Yes.
So
see, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't add up, and that's what I mean.
which will bring me around to number 2, and we'll still talk about skin tax and overcharge. I do see Bookham and Dano Panay saying that they've never been charged. I don't know too many that haven't. You probably just don't know that you have been, but there are different prices usually between Filipinos and expats.
Well,
You're probably pretty lucky, but I've experienced it quite a bit. So the fact that you haven't, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you've been to a lot of different areas. And if I go to an open market that doesn't have a price, we've tested it by sending somebody else in, and they do charge lower. It's not everywhere, but this isn't only the Philippines, this is everywhere. Which, with this guy's behavior, it'll bring me into the unwinnable battles, which is mental health, mental stress that a lot of people don't talk about living in another country, and then people becoming unstable like this guy. Or Mark Thornton. Let's talk about Mark Thornton, every man. In the end, according to him, he was bullied by other YouTube channels. He had all the trolls, and in the end, he snapped at ground zero and got into a full fight with somebody and injured them. Before the court hearing that would have wiped him out in his channel, financially and everything, he ended up passing away because he was taking the wrong medications and not the proper ones. So in other words, he was on off street, what is that, the DHT or HTT stuff. And yeah, I see. And thank you so much towards our birthday month. Thank you so much, Marianne. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and just real quick before we go farther away from the subject, Bogandano Pinay says, with all due respect, again, if you don't know the price,
Yes.
then you probably shouldn't,
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
Now, what's important here is you have to remember that things are, for example, okay, like I said, if you take a jeepney, I can get from literally, let's say there's a Jeep, like literally driving right here next to the couch. And then there's this big giant church here in the Angeles. If I took a jeepney, it would take me there for 20 pesos, okay? If I took a tricycle, that's 500 pesos.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody has the right to charge
If you took a Grab, it'd be about 150 pesos.
But there are so many new people that have been here, or they do rely on their Filipino to actually speak with them, like I
know
did
that.
for you.
But what I'm saying is, it's possible that American, because again, we don't know the context of his side.
And there could be two different charges from
Well,
two different
like I
drivers.
said, we don't know if he's used to a particular vehicle fare. Again, the same distance. It's from 150
No.
to 500.
Right. And also, if it was another trike, that other person might have a different trike. Some of them are smaller and
Since
bigger.
he took the keys, I'm guessing it was a tricycle, which means
Yeah, it was a trike. I seen him get out of the trike.
That means it's really expensive. again, 500 pesos from here to the big church. That's not that far.
Right, and drivers will also charge every different things. And Bookham said, with all due respect, if you don't know what the cost is to get to where you want to go, where you're going, then that's on you. Had to get white tax. Here's the thing: you can't always determine that. Different cities, different drivers. And I've been here almost 5 years, and I could not actually say what it would cost, even as of now, to go to different areas. So maybe he's been taking them in different cities, because
That's
it's going to
another
be
thing.
difference in Dumaguete and then
Depending
showing
on
in
where
Manila.
you're at, the
And if
rates
there's
are
50,
different.
right?
Yes.
If there are 50 drivers nearby, it could drop or something. You know, it doesn't always go up when there's
Yeah. For example, if from here to SM Mall, it's literally 60%, 70% cheaper if we get a tricycle from the mall to here, exact same distance. But because of where you get the vehicle, changes the prices.
And I wouldn't call it white tax. I don't know where you're coming up with taxes called white tax.
Yeah.
No, black, Chinese that isn't from the Philippines. If Chinese goes to Mexico,
It's a wallet tax.
it's a wallet tax.
A wallet tax.
But I'm telling you, when I mention me being white, I do know that somehow, some way, and female, I am way more vulnerable than the average person.
Yeah, but a
for
good
sure.
rule of thumb, guys, again, on average, if you take a tricycle, okay, I'm being specific here, because most jeepneys are run from 20 to 30 pesos, 15 to 30 pesos, depending. And grabs, again, that depends on distance, obviously. But tricycles, a good rule of thumb is 60 to 70 pesos per kilometer. And that's why I said, big difference. Big difference. If you take a trike, it's going to be expensive.
And then on top of that, okay, the unwinnable battle, what I keep hearing from people, what I keep reading on Facebook, and just it's happened to us at restaurants, and hotels, you can be overcharged differently than other people. I don't know how often Filipinos, if somebody's only making 700-800 pesos a day, and then you try to throw 400 pesos on their meal, and they add a beer to you, a lot of Filipinos are going to recognize right away. It's us that have a little bit more money, that's looser with our money, and I spend $12 on a jar of dried fruit, then I'm kind of like easy going with stuff. Filipinos recognize that stuff right away. People that are on a budget, the tighter the money is, like back in the day, my money's still tight. I'd be like poor in the United States right now with the income if I was by myself. And I would recognize it right away if there was an extra fry added at McDonald's, or if there was extra in my electric bill, because when the tighter it is, the tighter you're going to notice that something's missing. I think sometimes they're hoping or wondering that they can just add it. But they always notice that there's an extra plate of food or extra beers or extra drinks or something else. And I've heard this so many times, it's unreal. So it's just not the skin tax thing. It's also some of the overcharging. But it does happen to Filipinos, and I want to let you know it happens in other countries. It's a foreign country thing. When I was in Belize, in Cozumel, and when we were in the mountains of Mexico, things like this can happen. I just never noticed it as bad as I have in the Philippines. It just seems to be, it's just where it is. I guess maybe there's more tourism than there was in the place we lived in Mexico. There was still tourism because it was a mountain area and everything, but not like here. So, which brings us into the realm of the mental stress and mental health that I was talking about, Mark Thornton and stuff, where he went off the edge. A lot of people are not calculating that. A lot of people, I don't have problems and I don't have anxiety. A lot of you bitches bring baggage. You might as well pack it up, because a lot of people have one form or another of stress, anxiety. Like this guy, he probably rarely has any problems at all, but something triggered him. Something definitely. You think really $2 would have broke this old guy? No. Something else is going on in his life.
No,
There's
thank you.
temporary
Yeah,
stress.
something else was going on, and he just took it out on somebody who
I'm a 24-hour
innocent. I'm pretty
nutcase.
sure that
And I'll get up
150
in your
pesos
face.
is justified. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, and Georgia see me like that too. It's like for no reason I'll be so focused on one thing, and it's like, oh, this is going on. You're in pain, aren't you? So George can pretty much pinpoint when something else is going on in my life. And more than likely with Mark Thornton, there was other things going on. I think his wife was ready to give birth. He had been hounded at and didn't handle the trolls well at the time. He had people in Dumageddon allegedly messing with him. And so there were other things going on that did that.
Well, what really happened is he went on Google and checked out the price of his Beanie Baby.
Dr. Beanie Babies. Dun, 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 Beanie Babies. Give me the Beanie Baby. Beanie Babies on eBay.
Right,
I'm not
exactly.
selling. I'm going broke. It was my future, and I have a baby coming, and she forced me into having this baby, and I didn't want a baby because I knew I'd be old and crusty when that baby was born, and them Beanie Babies ain't selling. Can I get some opera?
Right. I can't sing, so don't ask me to sing.
They're not selling. They're not selling.
Yeah.
They're not selling. Ready? Beanie Babies. They're not selling. Beanie Babies. They're not selling. They're not selling. They're not selling. They're not selling. Mamma mia, Beanie Babies, let it go. Oh. Okay. I see a little Beanie Baby in the corner, and a baby, and a young wife, and another Beanie Baby. Sudden bolts of lightning. Big fights at a coffee shop. Me. Galileo. Mamma mia, hallelujah. I didn't say Mamma Mia. Okay, oh hush. So, so it came down to some issues like this, and I'm telling you, they don't have facilities here. If you have a nervous breakdown, when the elevator is going to break down, like Prince said, let's go crazy. That's exactly what happened. It does happen. Some of these guys are turning to excessive amounts of alcohol, which is really cheap here. They hit Walking Street and get a little nookie on the side, then they get taken for a ride and another ride, and then the big dummies decide to go to an ATM at 3 a.m. in the morning to get more fun and dopamine, and then think bad things happen. So when you're in a country that has so many different things going on, there's like a lot of frustration. I mean, George is a Filipino. I don't think he understands some of the stuff, even as of today, that I go through. But there's so many different factors that you deal with that your entire life you were used to a certain way. And you're either going to adjust or you're not. You either love it or hate it. Let's see. Let me scroll through. See, that's what I mean. You could be going through these. Would you? I do more of the talking. Do you want the scroll again? You want the scrollity, polity, scrolly, roly? No,
that's up to you. I mean,
it's not all. It's never up to me. Not if I'm going to get a little attitude on the side.
you always got an attitude anyway. So.
No, I don't. I don't never have no attitude.
I didn't say that. I said you always never get an attitude.
Oh, okay. No, I never do. I always say the right thing. I have no mental health problems.
I never said that either.
Jiminy Crick, I need sugar. 28 degrees Cancer, 2-degree Leo moon, Libra rising is born at noon. Yeah, I'm a hot mess. Lack of spot plus the date and exact time of birth location. And let us know on that subject what we were just talking about. Because I know people notice these other nutball expats. Where is what's his name? Chosen one to say they're degenerates when they arrive or whatever. And here's another thing. If people have real serious mental health problems, like I have anxiety quite a bit, okay? And it's like you bring that here to the country, you think you could like keep it inside of a box or something? Trust me, it's really hard. And so a lot of people, I think it's very underestimated how bad having anxiety, or when people come here with depressions, like those guys, there were like 2 guys a few months ago that passed away. I believe it was in Cebu. And then they found them up in their condo and another guy in the hotel, and their places were wrecked. It's like they hadn't left in 2 months. These guys had trash piled up, tons of beer bottles. Their laundry was dirty, like their sheets hadn't been changed. These guys just gave up. They didn't go outside because they were afraid to. They probably got hurt by a girlfriend, and these guys just become total shut-ins. Same shut-ins that would be in the UK or shut-ins in America or Canada or wherever. And you either get one or two types of expats, the ones that are always out and about and doing things, and then you get the ones that'll shut themselves in like in the US. And most people, when they retire in the US, like my grandparents, they were a little bit of both. Like most of their life was, the cooking, cleaning, same schedule. I was always talking about them watching Jeopardy and their shows. They were really on a schedule. My dad is always on a schedule. So that wouldn't change because he retired all of a sudden. Or if he came to the Philippines, my dad'd be doing the same thing. He wouldn't be out there every day doing things like you'll see on YouTube. Oh, this person's doing this and that person. Not really. You pretty much just lived the same life that you did, but these guys became total shut-ins. More than likely, they had some depression and other things, and it's like, hey, you know what? Let me move to the Philippines. That sounds like a good idea. Going to do just like Gio said. I'm going to go get me a girlfriend, and then I'm going to get, I'm going to go traveling everywhere, and I'm going to be a vlogger, and I'm going to do all of this. And next thing you know, they get here, they get overwhelmed, and then they're shut down, and then they're under 5 feet of trash inside of a condo in Cebu. Booyah!
Yeah. Well, most expats I know, they're actually like very active. They always go to the gym. It's called Eagles. Yeah, very active.
Ego or Eagles?
Eagles. Yeah, they do 8-ounce curls. Yes, it's a lot of work.
Cheese curls? What you talking about? Not everybody. But here's the thing.
Know what an 8-ounce curl is?
I have no idea. I know what an 8-ball is.
It's a beer. It's an 8-ounce curl.
I have no idea. Sorry, did I go there? Anyways, I'm talking about pool people. Get your pool up. I'm talking about like playing pool, 8-ball. So the deal is you also have to have your health in check. Recently, I've been talking about, here I am back like almost 3 weeks into, fasting half of my day, and I had to go back to a certain diet because of the lupus. And of course I get off track. Some idiot left a message the other day that says, oh, Heidi's lying again. She said she never eats junk food. Bitch, I never said anything about I don't eat junk food. If you leave me alone, I'm like a 3-year-old kid and I'll eat donuts, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well, that's a lie. She doesn't.
Yeah, but I do like sugar.
Yeah, but when was the last time you ate a donut?
Yeah, that's usually I don't. But at one point we did when we first got here.
I eat more donuts than Heidi does.
Well, in the past we talked about. But the whole thing is when I went into full retirement, although I was disabled, I was still part-time driving Uber, okay, in the United States. And then I was driving to Miami all the time to take a couple clients. At that point, at least I was still on the move. Once we hit Mexico. Anyways, so once I stopped, I gave up on everything, guys. So like you get here and some people do go into some sort of hibernation, and I wasn't out moving and doing things like we were in Mexico or like Florida. We were out every day. We were either working the company or we were out doing something or traveling or camping. And then all of a sudden I just went into full retirement. I've put on X amount of weight. I've put on a lot of weight since I got here, plus my lupus, plus the steroids. So when you get here, it is good that you stay active and you communicate with actually other Filipinos and other expats, so you don't always have to do that. Oh, Linda, thank you again, Linda. Oh, Jay, did I say hello to you, Jay? Hey guys, don't let Linda outrun you on our birthday stickers there.
Yeah. Ruby, just real
thank
quick.
Thank you so much.
The average consultation fee for a doctor is, I said average, and again for a general practitioner, is 500 pesos. Average.
Did I get to that yet? No, we were actually there. It is. When I go to Clark, depending on the things, if you go to have blood, I don't know what it costs for a full panel of blood, but it can run anywhere between $40 and $100. That's self-pay. I think we paid close to $50 the last time. Are there other places here just in Angel City or Mabalaca? There is, but usually they have you go to the hospital. Most things, when people get anything beyond the basics, a lot of them will not write scripts for pain meds or anything that you need that's up there in a tier. They can do the basic blood pressure medicine with licensing. After that, you have to hit a hospital. They pretty much send everybody for a hospital, because like the U.S., they tended to get those machines in their own offices. And when I left at that point, they were doing some of the items in the offices. And then I also seen a neurologist before I left, and they had a lot of their own machines. But you have to go to the hospital, and it is. If you just go to a regular clinic, like they've got the British clinic that is here, that I like a whole bunch in Angel City. Yeah, it's $20-$30 depending on what you have done. I'm trying to get down there. That's probably why. Oh, thank you, Gio. Gio's so sweet.
Thanks so much, Gio.
Hey, Gio, how about we come over and have a slumber party with you?
You get Linda?
Huh? Yeah, I think I did. Yes, I did. I put it up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We have to do a slumber party. Gio, let's do a slumber party. I'll send George over so you guys can have a night out. Another night out.
Right, we'll go on First Street.
First Street?
Yeah.
Hey, you can pick him up at the airport here. He can swing on into Angel City. Thank you so much, Gio. That means a lot.
It's 500
Linda, there
pesos
it is.
per beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess. Yes, I guess. There you go, George. Now you can stare down in here. People can see. We put some of the cat food up here because we give them where they can, like if the cats want to separate themselves. I put bottled water in that one. For some reason, we have filtered water, but they're always trying to drink out of my water bottle when I set it down and it's part open. So I gave one water bowl in the house that has, and they tend to flock to it. It's kind of crazy. But let me see if I can get back into there. Yeah, it takes it all down when we do it. Hey, let's see. Yeah, I have to go. Yeah, you're right. This one's not okay. Black Grandpa.
Well, even the other one, it takes you out.
Well, it did when that'll stay up there no matter
that
what.
one. But what I'm saying is the stickers.
Yeah, it only stays up temporary for the PayPal
when you
because
click
that's
on the thing.
that's instant. The stickers come in the following month for us, and then the PayPal is actually instant, and we appreciate people have been donating. It's been exciting.
No, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we're going out tomorrow, and then I can
No,
bake
we're
you.
not.
I can bake you some more cakes. Oh, I am.
We're going on the weekend.
Oh, and I think we're going to book at Candy Palace, our classic. I think we've done it at least 3 of them. Last year we did the resort as our biggest thing, and one of our outings this month will be Candy Palace, but more likely it's just going to be me. I got people to do and people to lick and see and lick again.
There you go.
Mom's got to make some money. Japan has incorporated a foreign tax on tourists. You're charged more than locals nationwide. Oh, snap. Japan has said, charge her $500. Look at her size. Charge her per pound. Right, babe?
Well, see, when I read that,
it makes sense.
No. You always pay tax, but here's the thing: do you get double tax? What I mean is, okay, I get the foreign tax, okay, because
well, I'd rather be told though. You know.
No. Here's how. Here's the old way, which is, I mean, you buy stuff, and then when you leave the country, if you get X amount of goods, then you pay extra tax.
Oh, you're talking about on the way out.
Right.
Yeah, no.
So that's
no,
I
believe this is at the stores,
right,
hotels, and
I
everything.
understand that, but that's
Your
what I'm
chicken
saying.
will cost an
Does
extra
that
$5.
mean that when you leave, you have to pay the tax again?
Yes.
No, I mean,
You're talking about like if you buy the perfumes and everything else, are you getting hit?
that's why I said again. This is different now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense if you have to pay double. Because if you're going to do that, you might as well not buy crap in the country, get it? Because people don't want to pay double. They don't want to get double tax. You know what I'm saying? Bad enough, you don't know if the item you're buying is going to make it out of the country, if that makes any sense. Because some items, they're not allowed to leave the country. Like in Mexico, there's a lot of stuff that we can't get out of the country, so we just forget it.
Well, we also were overloaded too, and I wasn't going to pay hundreds of dollars to take out And plus, we only could take 2 bags each, like pretty much roll them. Bruce Adams says, I can't believe there is a problem at Poppy's Hotel. There it is. There's several reports people have told us, and we just seen footage yesterday where it was all closed down and dark. So unless they came back and they were on a short vacation and just didn't pay people, yeah, there's something going on. And I do believe it. I believe it because Mercy and him didn't look like they had those type of finances to run a place. I was surprised when they opened it. Then I seen they had a partner. A lot of these expats take on partners. And every time I see well-laid plans and money, if you don't have, in my opinion, how much would you say before you'd even think about a business?
The problem I have
500,000, 400,000 in the bank before you would open a hotel, restaurant.
That's not enough.
Right. So that's what I mean. You better have about 2-3 years worth of operational expenses.
No,
even here.
the problem
Bars they open up, they don't have the funds.
When they open it up again, I'm not talking down on them or anything like that. I'm just saying the problem I have with that when they opened it is the location. Why? You guys watched my video when I was right by Drake Hotel. It's hotel, 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 and I'm telling you right now, Drake Hotel is not the best.
Special.
It's not the best hotel on that
Well,
on
it's
that strip.
just average. Their food was,
You know what I'm
in our opinion, as many as.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's better hotels right next to it,
and they were just
and
average.
there's lower hotels next to it. So what I'm saying is, it's competing with both the good hotels and the cheap hotels. So you're like.
And I think the only thing they had going for them is they would stock certain liquors. They catered to the American and Canadians and the expats. And they had a channel that I think at that time had 8,000 subscribers.
The channel helps. I mean, but
right, but it's not enough
it's not enough to compete with both. And they're
both American. She's not Filipino, as people forget. They were all Americans running Mexican. This. Yeah, but she's American, but Mexican descent. She has American citizenship.
Okay. Well, either way, but
so it's a, Bookham Dano said that American guy having the fit. I think he was American. That over the trike ride and the charge had an entitled complex. I hate to say it, most foreigners do.
150 pesos. Again, I'd hate to say it. I believe it's about.
There's something else going on.
Well,
he didn't get no nookie. He needed some alcohol in his system. Maybe he had some alcohol.
From where we're at to
he needed a snack,
the supermarket, which is within walking distance, was 60 pesos. Put it that way. And it's in walking distance. It's literally right there. You know what I'm saying? And from there to here, it's 70 pesos. And that's my point. It's literally right there. So that's 70 pesos. So I mean, 150 pesos is not a stretch by any means.
You know, that's the one that I think about is Calvin.
And the hotel Sunshine Walking Street. They're right there. They're 100 pesos.
And remember when we talked about Calvin? I think he's had at least 2 incidents. Not this time, but the time before. He said when he was in Manila, they flat out tried to overcharge him for the cab ride. I mean,
okay, that's different.
I think you said 1,500 pesos when for sure it shouldn't have been more than 400.
Yeah, cab rides. The problem is they have a meter, and when they shut it off and tell you a price, then you know you're being scammed.
Right. So it's he said that was really testing him when that all went down, and I don't blame him. At that point, then it becomes a principle, but. Where does it go into, like, when you're going to be off the chain? You know what I mean? When you're going to, sometimes it's like a principle. And
no, I get the principle.
Oh, I'm going to whisper. Can I mention the chicken thing? Because he was going to hold your food and everything. There's a difference in being robbed and holding your $30, $40 worth of food. The Brad guy. I don't want to mention the incident.
That's fine. But like I said, Drake Hotel to Walking Street, which is literally right there, it's 100 pesos. That's why I said it. Again, I'm not defending the Filipino. I'm just saying price-wise, it's very conceivable, 150 pesos. Yes.
And thank you again, Marian.
Oh, thank you so much, Marian Herrera.
Yeah. Well, what I was talking to him about is there's a difference. Like, a lot of people know about the incidences we have, and they're like, oh, well, you went through the same thing. And we had a Grab driver. We had put the food, it was like, I call it a larger load of chicken. Usually we eat on it for 2 days. $25 at least worth of chicken. And I think it was at like 13 or 1400 pesos. I don't remember exactly, but it was $25. It was already charged and taken out of the account. And then the guy said he couldn't find us. We tried to call him. He wouldn't answer the phone. And then he told us to come up the street up on MacArthur and come get it ourselves.
Yeah.
So at that point, I didn't say nothing. This is when George, as a Filipino, got extremely frustrated.
Well, okay. Frustrated, but nothing. What I'm saying is,
yeah.
be aware when the recording started, it's way after already. Because I've been telling him, you're here, don't worry about it, just give us our food. He held the food hostage.
Yeah, he refused
He
it.
refused to give the food. It's already paid for. It's already paid for. I said, you're not here to argue. It's okay. You're here. Just give me the food, please. I said this several times, over and over.
And that's when George told me to go and get the
and
camera.
Then, and I did ask for the food several times, and he held the food hostage. And I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? In fact, when I was asking for the food, he leaned on it.
Yeah, he put his arm up on top of the boxes
what
of George was
And I said, Heidi, get the camera.
Yeah, that's when
I said, I'm going to record this, and I'm going to show your boss.
Those that have been with us for a while, it became a thing on the internet for a while.
I called Heidi for a camera tells you that I'm saying, this guy's in the wrong, because I said, give me the food, please, over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And he refused.
Let me tell you another situation. And I know a lot of people say, no, I would never act like that back in my home country. This is what I'm really wanting to tell you about all these things, the skin tax, the mental stress. I'll be getting to loneliness and out of stock. We already talked about the loneliness and piling yourself inside of your apartment. But out of stock, I'll get to here in a minute. But you can act a fool in your country. You know, I can sit up in county jail for 3 days if somebody puts their hands on me or does something where I feel like I'm threatened or he's threatened or my cats are threatened or my family members or friends. But here you just can't do it. So you can kind of lose your own shit back in your country because you're on your own territory. Your family's around to bail you out. But here you don't have a leg to stand on, because if that bitch would have done that to me, the Grab driver back in the U.S., I'd have kicked that bike over and sat in jail like a bitch.
That's another problem. I think he did that because he thought
that would be the entitled part, or what he might have done back in his country.
I believe he was discriminate.
I think that also I've had a feeling with some people that they know they can push us too. I mean, that's not a feeling. No. I think other expats know that Filipinos that scam, Filipinos that scam, the ones that overcharge, like, what are they going to do about it? Oh, because they are threatening every 5 minutes. Oh, I'm going to sue you. Or, oh my God, you better do this. Or, you know, it's like they know that there are certain laws, which are rarely enforced, but they kind of leverage that. But it is in Mexico. It is in Canada. It was in the Middle East. Not as bad in the Middle East or other countries that I've been, as I've seen people be petty here. But the expats are petty too. So don't get me wrong. There's like a balance. But I'm telling you, if that dude would have done that to me, I'd have kicked his bike in and took that food and walked away and not even thought about it, man. It's just where I'd have been. You know, please give me my food, please. Okay. You know, and that'd have been it, the end of it. But here I can't, you know, so George was the one. And the whole time, like those that report it was like, oh, that was all about Heidi. And it's like, no, it wasn't. I wasn't even.
No,
Heidi
wasn't involved. And again, the thing is, he refused to give the food. And that's the bottom line.
Expats need to think about when they're here. Yes, we should refrain.
In fact, the video shows I didn't have the food in my hand. That's the problem. The food was paid for, and he refused to give the food. I'm like, just give me the food and leave. I told him, you're not here to argue with me. Just give me the food. And
Bookham Dano's still proclaiming that they've never been white techs. I don't know if you said that earlier or if I went back over the same comments again.
Oh, okay, I forgot. There is different parties involved. Yeah, Drake. Yeah, Drake's wife is Filipino.
Oh, you're talking about that other
guy? The other guy, yeah. Sorry, yeah. You're right.
No, I knew there was a business partner.
No, I know. I forgot about him. I didn't know that his wife is Filipino.
So you think they put that into her name?
It's possible, but you have to remember she's screwed if that's the case, because she owes now.
Yeah, they're pretty good about.
She owes money, and the thing is, here when you're in debt, they throw you in jail, in prison.
Black Rample said I was born in Jamaica, and when I go back to Jamaica, I'm charged higher prices. Yeah, when they hear me speak or they think I'm an expat. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
there you
have
go.
the same
Yeah,
skin.
it's
Yeah, it doesn't. The Chinese
wallet.
people get it's the wallet.
It's the
We've
wallet,
always
yeah.
said that it's based on wallet, so that I
Yeah,
understand.
they don't see skin color; they see the wallet color. Yeah,
It's the
the
same with
greenbacks, as it were.
that the foreigners that I've known, my entire life, I've been attracted to like the British and the foreigners. When foreign was cool and there weren't so many foreigners in America, I was always like, I like the foreign exchange students that used to come into the high schools and middle school and all that. And so, always made quicker friends, always found their lives to be more interesting. And, um, usually when they show up in America, people do try to take advantage. It doesn't matter if they're 6 foot tall and 400 pounds, built with muscles and a samurai sword on their back. They still tend to mess with foreigners, and they tend to manipulate, or they feel they can get over. And it happens in one form or another when people go to other countries. I think it does. But if I only came to the Philippines and then I was just talking nonsense, then that would just be nonsense. But I've been to so many different countries, and this is one of them that I feel like some of the stuff is going on. But I think it has to do with it being a poor country, or as I would say, with it being third world. So was Egypt, but people in Egypt didn't try to put. Well, you know what? They did try the skin tax, but my ex-husband wouldn't deal with it. So because his family was so big inside of the city, they knew better than to do that. So if I was probably standing on my own, it might have happened. But the prices were dirt cheap there anyways. So they were even cheaper than I feel that they are here. It seems like the cost, I think a lot of people are agreeing that the cost is going up here. Yeah, and that's another thing. You're right, Gio. You don't know the cost.
You don't know prices. You don't have a basis, and that's why we're
Mhm.
telling you the basis again. Like for example, like I just said, on average, it's about 70 pesos per kilometer for a tricycle. So because
And I
it's
still
you don't have a
wouldn't know.
benchmark. You don't know.
And here's the thing, get yourself familiar with online prices, like literally at Lazada and Shopee, because the reason being is the exact brand names, not knockoffs, are online. And then a lot of them, there's 10 different companies selling the same one. They put their own label on it. And when I used to just go into the mall or just into SM or at a store up the street when we were looking for certain products during the pandemic and we needed these items, we were charged what 3 times as much for a rice maker, or like when you went up to that one store and bought the rice maker that one time and you brought it back. Yeah, you're going to get really charged. So I think if you get used to the prices, like now I know what a blanket.
Jack broke it.
Jack broke it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cats used to get up on the refrigerator.
The cat broke the rice cooker. Yeah.
Yeah, and then George had to go for a new one. We've had the steam kettles and everything.
Yeah.
You know what? I got birthday presents. We can start giving you a birthday present, or we will wait.
Huh? No, wait.
Oh, I know. We'll wait and open up the birthday presents later, because I was just sitting there thinking about that when you said Jack. And
I mean, I can't open up your birthday present right now. Not on Monday.
Don't nobody want none of that coconut fluid. Keep it in, coconut nut. No nut opening here now.
The coconut nut is the kind of nut.
Over $8 US. That's silly. Yeah, George could have been, because he's used to a certain price. Yeah. Yeah. You can check around and get to know the prices, like I was saying earlier. That's how I know. And here's another thing, with me eating more whole foods and a diet that I should have been eating for multiple medical conditions a long time ago, a lot of these things aren't available.
Hold on.
And you're going to pay a lot more. Like I just got an entire bag of bay leaves for less than $2, and I like right now for $1, I just get a tiny bag, and I use that to flavor everything. And I've been making homemade everything. What you looking for, babe? Oh, don't use that. You talking about right there, like that, or all the spices are right there?
Like that. How about that stuff?
For
I'm just going to show price on food. It's just beyond.
yeah, but that's not the original container.
I know that.
What about the berries or the chia
Okay.
seeds or any of those are right there under the cloth or the ice maker, all that stuff there. The blueberries aren't there?
showing the container, not the bag.
There should be a brand new one there up on the shelves. He's just looking for stuff to compare. There's some of that Chinese luncheon meat that we're saving for the end of the world. It's underneath that shelf where the cat water is. He's looking for items to show people. George is the worst hunter that I've ever seen.
No, I don't know what you mean.
Right down there. Up the bottom, underneath where the berries are, George. See where the water fountain is? Where the cats usually sit in there? There's luncheon meat in there.
Yeah, but that's not what I want. I want the container. I said the container.
I'm not going to point it out.
I'm not just gonna show them.
It's
I'm looking for
in
the container. Wasn't showing what's inside. I want the container. I'm trying to show the container. Oh well.
Okay.
I was just trying to give them a benchmark on prices, but oh well.
Gotcha. So, yeah, you can compare prices and know. I buy a lot of stuff now. I'd probably say 60% of our stuff is coming from online, except for the meats. Because if you, like, we even get the onions that are already cut and dried out, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Point being, the prices I was trying to make is from one area to another, prices are different.
And if you can't afford the expat
And
tax, then yes, don't
I was
leave
just
your
going to
house
show
or
you the
smart enough.
container because I was like, well, in this area, half of this container is X amount, and in another area, it's literally here. That's actually, for example, I was going to show you this container. Half the amount is 100 pesos. In another area, the full container is 100 pesos. So what I'm saying is, you literally get double somewhere else. So
And online, you may even get better.
Nobody's trying to scam anybody. It's just in different areas, prices are different.
Yeah,
They just
that's the
simply
other
are.
possibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Know your price is definitely, you're right.
Yeah, and they're localized, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if there's a piggery nearby, obviously, if you're going to buy lechon in that area, their lechon prices are going to be lower. But if there's no piggery nearby, obviously, their lechon prices are going to be higher. So, yeah, it depends on, same thing with fish,
It was like the groceries that I showed the other day that cost $1,000 with the carrots and this and that. There were a few people, Filipino and expats, that said, "Oh, I can get double and triple that for that cost." And we're not paying much to have it delivered because George isn't here part of the time or he's sleeping or something else. So if I need things to make a soup, I just order it. It's probably only like $2 extra, including the increase on price, but that didn't make a difference on what we had that day. If you're in a different area, vegetables become a whole different thing.
So like I was going to talk about that, the vegetables, like Heidi just brought it up. In Davao, vegetables are cheap. Here, they're not. You know why? Because they're from Davao. They ship all the vegetables. Well, not all.
Or the Baguio beans.
Right. Most of them are not from Angeles City because Angeles is not. It used to have its own plantations, but not anymore. But point being is, vegetables here are more expensive than in other areas. So you have to know your prices in that area.
What was it? I wanted to make my own chicken stock because the other stuff had the salt. And by the time I went to go get like the stuff, it was probably only like 2 carrots, and I didn't get 1 carrot because it was online, right? So I guess I could have went in, I would save some money directly at the store. But by the time I had the chicken to make the stock, a few carrots, the celery, the onions, and something else, I was already at $20. I'm like, wait a minute, that only makes a couple things of chicken stock. I was like, yeah, not at this time. So people don't realize also there is inflation everywhere. And honestly, I didn't find the Philippines to be as cheap as I thought. Cheap, don't get me wrong, it's cheaper. Right? There's some things I can't believe that's way cheaper, but a lot of people underestimate the grocery cost.
Well, they underestimate everything. I mean,
yeah.
It's kind of like I was watching this vlogger and it says, we're looking for a high-end hotel, and they said this was it, and it's not. And I'm like,
That probably was the high-end hotel, yeah. So yeah, talk about the entitlement. Yeah, Victoria, you're right. The guy probably did feel ganged up on. If you get a bunch of, if somebody from the UK showed up in America and then they got into a fight with the cab driver, yeah, the Americans are going to come around and they're going to try to figure out what's going on. They're going to put some cameras on you and record it like these
oh no,
other
they're gonna
people
do
were.
that, yeah.
And so
Even
you're
they're
just
not
always going to feel like that. But with the language barrier,
and
100% you're going to feel it even more.
right, and it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. What I'm saying, for example, again, we don't know the full context of that, what that happened, and I'm not saying that neither party is right or wrong. Okay, I'm just saying I'm just letting you know. Again, tricycle the pricing is a little off. It's always been kind of one of those tricky things. What I'm saying is you have to remember that those were locals, and what I'm saying is like in their head, like, and that's why I even say it's probably right because the locals would have said something like, "Oh yeah, I don't think that's right." You know what I'm saying? But they're saying
And they will defend.
they're saying that the American is wrong, and what I'm
Sure.
saying is they know the local prices, they know the usual fares. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So that's also what makes me think that he wasn't being overcharged because the locals weren't saying anything like that. They were just saying he's the one who's doing wrong. He's the one who grabbed the keys. He this, he that. And again, what I'm saying is even if the Filipinos were right, as the American, you still feel ganged up on.
Yeah.
Even
Just
if you're the
way-
one wrong. I'm not
We're
saying
just going to be
I'm not-
hyper. Anybody's
I'm saying
sensitive.
same thing, turn things around. If those are all Americans and that's a Filipino.
And here's another thing, like I said,
whoever that one person is, they'll feel ganged up on because
they're in a foreign country and there's so many different things you're not feeling at home. It doesn't matter how nice the Filipinos are or they're offering you food. You not being able to find your foods in the Philippines is upsetting to foreigners. Not finding the right bed because the beds are made different. Everything piles up. Oh my God, these pillows aren't like they're at home, and it's too hot here. It's not like home, and people are always so busy comparing what's home, and it's hard not to. And then I thought about that the first year I was here. I kept hearing, well, if you don't like it, then go home. Well, yes and no.
Well, that's
I
not
get
how
it.
it works.
Yeah, you're going to have to adjust, and that's even if you can adjust.
And you have to know, for example, if you're looking for Parmesan cheese, I told Heidi, everything everything is in Angel City. You just have to look for it. Does it exist? Are you looking for Parmesan cheese? Yes, it's here. Are you looking for ravioli? Yes, it's here. But it's not going to be in the supermarket. Maybe I said maybe because there's Parmesan cheese right there. But what I'm saying is, like Heidi said, the bed. For example, the bed. Well, again, we live right next to SM here, so they do have the American. What's that? The American standard bed.
They have them in Manila and other places.
Right.
It just depends on where you go. And now in the last
where you go,
couple years,
but for the most part, in a lot of areas, they don't.
They've improved in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
for sure.
For example, guitar. Okay. I don't recommend. Again, I hate to say this. If you're Filipino, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say this. But a righteous music store owner would agree with me. If you're like a musician and you're looking, for example, a guitar, don't go to these side stores that you see all over the place. You know why? Because it's not American standard guitars. You want American standard guitars, you go to the mall. That's an example. What I'm saying is you have to know where to go. Don't assume that you can just go anywhere and find things. You're not in your country anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Ian. Hi. It's good to see you back. Yeah, the key to success is being able to adapt to your surroundings. And you're right on this one, but it's not going to stop people, and it definitely didn't stop me. I've got 3 major medical issues. They would have happened there, and my coverage there was only so-so in the U.S. So, and then the way they don't want to pay out anymore in the U.S. and all these things, I was going to be sick no matter where I was. So it's easy. Do not come to the Philippines if you had any health issues. And I kind of take a stance on that a little bit because there are so many vloggers that put that out. Easier said than done. And then you got Peachback Mountain guy up there saying, well, I've never had to go to a doctor. There's nothing wrong with my health. And he's smoking up 2 packs a day and he's drinking all the time. And he's definitely got some health issues. He just hadn't gone to the doctors. And so once you're over a certain age, they're going to have them anyways, Ian. And most of the guys that are coming here in retirement, they're 60 and 55. They've already got high blood pressure. They've already eating unhealthy. A lot of them are a drinker, smoker, one or both, or all of them. So it's a little easier said than done than just don't come if you have health conditions.
It's more like this.
At least plan for it.
Do your research and see if the medication that you're taking exists here.
Or if you can handle it or deal with it, and definitely come and visit.
For example, like Heidi gets migraines, the medicine that
the
for her
Emgality
doesn't exist here. It really doesn't. However, there's some other ways to circumvent it. For example, Benadryl is it's like a miracle drug. You can use Benadryl for a lot of things. But of course, the side effect is it puts you to sleep. The point being is there's a workaround. Can you work with that workaround? If that makes any sense. So.
Yeah, I missed the 500 peso thing.
Yeah, no. 500 pesos for the doctor visit. But again,
it can't be.
That's for a GP. That's just a general practitioner. That's just a real quick.
It definitely for going even into a professional is not. It's, in my opinion, if I go to a neurologist in the U.S., I'm looking at a few hundred for my first visit, self-pay or more, because they want to do the consultation and sometimes they want the test. But let's just say it's $400 or $500 self-pay. It's definitely, you could get into one, probably $100 would be overcharged, 5,000 for the first visit.
And for example, dentists. I recently had work done on my teeth. For example, the local dentist. Okay, when I went there for a filling, it's 800 pesos.
Gio said, "Come on over for the overnight. We're going to do that slumber party."
Oh, there you go. Right. So for example, again, the local dentist. It was 800 pesos for a tooth filling, right? And then I went to this other dental clinic, and they usually get expats. And actually, I was the only Filipino patient I've seen there. But anyway, I went there a few times, and their tooth fillings ran from a minimum of 1,000 to 1,800.
Okay, so $26, which is. In the U.S., you're looking at $80 or $90
and here's the thing.
For fillings. So
I asked them, how much does it cost? We don't know, sir, until we're done. So point being is, that's why Filipinos don't go there, because guess what? What kind of place would you want to go to where you don't know what your bill is?
And yes, Ruby, Clark Medical, you can go onto their site and make appointments.
Yes, you make a in any doctors, you always make appointments.
Some you can actually walk in, but it's not suggested.
Yeah, usually
for the big ones like that over on Clark and everything. But yeah, they have a website that you go to. And then after that, I was just making appointments when I was there.
Yeah, it's easy to get to anyway. I mean, it's literally a straight shot.
I hate when that happens.
Somewhat in the back, well, not really backside, because backside of
Hector,
Clark is
hey, does tourists on a 2-3 week visa pay VAT? Yes, they don't have any difference. If the VAT is there at the mall and you're buying an item, then yes, you have to pay it. Yeah, unless he's talking about Japan. Now, we were talking about Japan, but if you're talking about here in the Philippines, yeah, VAT doesn't change here for... The question is, did Drake get involved with a kabit? Interesting. Was there something going on that we don't know? So I just think they just didn't have the finances. Hey, it could have been. Don't blame a woman. Ain't no always a woman behind something. Let's see. Before you start a business anywhere in the world, you'll have to do a business plan. Yeah, and forecast futures. Yeah, and you need, I think, 2 years? You need at least 1 year. Like if you're opening a restaurant and a bar and a club, but these people don't do that. They come in with like 6 months worth of money, and they don't even calculate their employees taking, food out of the restaurant.
And they probably didn't do a study. Again, like I said, in that area, remember, like I said, It's literally
right after the
like
pandemic, during
hotels
it.
that are of different ranges, which is worse. It's one thing. It's if it's like there's high end hotels. They're only high end hotels. Then you'll go into a mid level hotel, and then everybody will go to you because you're cheaper. Or the opposite. They're all cheap hotels. You go a little more expensive because people will go to you because they'll think, oh, that's probably a better hotel. But the problem is in that
And-
area,
Well,
it's
that
all the different kinds of
I
hotels.
believe they exactly opened up when the country reopened. They were building at the time of the reopening. So I'm like, wow, they're doing it in advance because remember, it was really dead in the beginning. So here's another thing. I'm telling you, if like right now, how about that bacon and candle shop I've been talking about? Let's say all of a sudden I come up with all those chocolates and I decide to make my own soy candle, and I go up here and then I just have people sitting around and buying that stuff and drinking tea with me all day. Let's just say we did that. I guarantee within a month, people will sell their kids to open up a shop the exact same.
And you have to
And
remember
it does
too,
happen. So there were probably other hotels, not all of them, but they will build one right after the fact.
right?
They're really,
Well,
really
and
heavy on
location,
that one.
It's not close to anything.
Well,
I showed-
Yeah, no.
I showed you guys the area. There's nothing there. There's really literally nothing other than a 7-Eleven in the corner.
Ah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Bookham Dano said that Chubb said the investors invested $3.3 million in that stuff. See, that's insane. In the
No,
Philippines.
That's about right.
Right, but $3
That's
million
the number that I had in my
US.
mind.
US. So my point is I'm sorry, it wasn't even in a good area.
That's what I said.
They set
It's not a
this
good
up.
area.
We seen it,
Now,
and then
for
to
example,
think about that kind of
Kokomo's is much tinier. Both Kokomo's, because there's 2 locations.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you they get more traffic than they do because they're right there.
And they've been
Walking-
established.
right by
like
Walking
it was
Street, you know what
cheaper
I'm saying?
when remember he's been there. How long? Didn't he say he's been there like 30 plus years or something? Man, this is a man on the Kokomos. We like Kokomos, and he's been there forever. That guy's got
Daryl.
so
Daryl.
well established, and he's been running that, and that was way before the pandemic. Pandemic hit, wiped out a lot of people, and then after the fact, people are still losing money, but the country's reopening. It's a lot of false like balances or something. It's just I can't see a restaurant, hotel, or when we say don't do business,
it's just not the right area.
I just can't see unless you've got $1 million in the bank to lose to actually even consider opening even an average.
And it's a one-sided street. And what I'm saying is, one side is where everything is. On the other side, there's nothing. It's just it's a wall. It's not a wall. It's a cyclone wire. And then there's another road on the other. So there's nothing literally on the other side. It's just one-sided
Luke.
street. So there's really nothing there.
They only like us foreigners in the face, but they're jealous of us.
Fair enough. I mean,
it's fair enough.
I mean, it's one of those. But how they react, that's the question. Because some
It's
act
not
aggressive
them all, yeah.
because they are jealous, but some are nicer because they are jealous. So it depends on how they react. And that's why I said that food delivery guy, he went the opposite. He went aggressive because when he saw me, and well, it's more me. He sniffed me out right away. He's like, this guy's not a regular Filipino. You know what I'm saying? And again, he was going through something, and I just happened to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
we said there was something wrong with the guy that day.
I just happened to be there, and he took it out on me.
Because George was nice, and we patiently called the guy, the Grab driver, and it wasn't that he was 40 minutes beyond delivery and wouldn't answer the phone and then sent us a message to come get the food or not. It was also charged to a credit card. So sometimes it takes a week to unbalance that. And yes, if you guys don't have money in the bank, which we did, so that wasn't the problem. The problem is I explained that it would tie that $25 up. Then we would have had to spend another $25. We'd had $50 tied up in chicken because the guy didn't want to give us our stuff once he arrived.
That's the problem.
I'm going to cancel my order on you.
Refused to give them the food. And keep in mind, this is not isolated either. And what I'm getting at is, this didn't happen just because of me. No, this happens to even Filipinos. In fact, a lot of Filipinos and the ones that are here in the chat that have Filipinos, I'm pretty sure most of them will tell you it's best to pay COD, cash on delivery, rather than paying in advance, because sometimes this does happen. You don't get your stuff, they don't give you your stuff.
Some of them are known to take your stuff after
Correct.
the fact.
And that's the problem I had in this incident. He refused to give me my stuff. And that's why a lot of Filipinos don't want to pay in advance. They always do the COD thing.
Yeah, we try to do that. Robert asked, yeah, whatever happened to the delivery drivers? We're understanding he did get fired. We know
Not
another
because
vlogger.
of us.
There
Not
was
because of us.
other
It
vloggers
was a
that
month
covered
later.
it,
was a
and
month
he
later.
went down there harassing the driver over us because it was his content and he was a toxic
Yeah,
vlogger.
it wasn't because of us. It happened a month afterwards.
Yes, they had found out that he had done some stuff.
We didn't
and
complain. We didn't call.
We didn't report
complain.
any
We
incident.
didn't,
But yes, the guy doesn't have the job anymore.
Yeah.
But another vlogger that's right now currently not vlogging, I expect him to come back any day, actually went down there trying to interview him and make more content and drama about it. And the guy did get fired.
Yeah,
because we took ours down.
We took ours down.
We
right
took
away.
our stuff down, then they copied it, which a lot of the people making content.
And he got blasted, and then that's.
One of his shorts went viral, and it caused an issue. Never reported that he used the stuff, and we don't do that. When people cover us, we're like, go ahead. It just provides us extra advertisement, so we don't mind. Like I said, unless there's heavy doxing, we've talked about that. But yes, the guy did get fired. With Lazada and Shopee, if I want branded, I go to the flagship. Yes.
Yes.
You want to make sure.
Yeah.
And just because you go to Laws Mall doesn't always mean that the people are legit. We've had items that were up there in cost that said they were brand names, and then the items were half junk when they actually come through.
I have a question for you.
Landers and Dow, it's wholesale. Yeah, that's where we go quite a bit.
The problem I have with Landers, this is all applies to SNR and all that kind of stuff. Remind you, it doesn't mean that you find something there. When you get there and buy something, the next time you're there, it may not be there because they go on rotation.
Yeah.
No, it's just I'll just show you something and ask you a question.
If you're in Visayas, you're relying on boat shipping or what's flown in. Yes.
Is that legit? See, it doesn't show a store. It just says bundle and sale.
No, anytime you see him, he's just showing. Let me see. You can't really see.
Yeah, it's a toy.
What the deal is when this is like this, usually it's overseas. It is. I haven't had a problem, but I would still do COD. This is.
So it's not gonna make it. It's for the birthday.
Yeah, sometimes they are, but I believe a lot of these are the overseas and China stuff. Yeah, and I think it's some of their. Anytime it's purple like that.
She knows. Hey.
Yeah.
The chicken. Hey, the chicken.
Yeah. National Dive Bar Day is on July 7th. Hey, more to actually go through.
Dive bar, huh? I guess I would go to checkpoint or crossing, as it were.
Yeah.
Now, checkpoint or crossing, as an expat, guys, don't go there. Don't go to checkpoint or crossing if you're in Angeles City.
1 second.
The reason being, it's not safe at night. Yeah, no, I got you.
Right, but I need to get up, so that'll. Is there? We had a.
Oh, you can play a video.
No, that'll still put us in the.
Yeah. So don't go.
Yeah, you're just gonna.
Don't go to checkpoint or crossing at night.
That's the best.
I mean, why do that?
Yeah, because it's better than not.
But why?
Yeah.
Okay. In a world where you go to Angeles City. What? Look at my wood. No, it doesn't look like wood. Oh, Heidi assembled this, by the way. This is a, what do you call it? Hold on. it's a shelf on top of the monitor. Hold on. Wow. Now I have to adjust it. I feel like I'm doing a selfie, guys. Now, yeah, don't go to checkpoint by yourself again. Not at night. I mean, you can. You can do whatever you want again. But I'm just letting you know at night there's certain parts of it that's eh, unless you have a Filipino guide to guide you, like yeah, you shouldn't go on that side. Put it this way, that's there's an area there where you can buy rock candy if that makes any sense. Anyway, uh, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
You too.
Well, it's kind of like
Right? What it is me and George don't wear pants, so we sit here in our house slippers and crap. That's what's really going on. It's true. George is just in his what business on top, slutty on the bottom. Sorry, the fluids are going through me. I need them for multiple things. So, been drinking all day. Wait, you're close to Baguio, right? They got the best fresh vegetables. We're not that close. How far away is
Okay.
Baguio?
Well, see that.
That's still an import for us.
See, that's the thing. That's a lot of it's a big misnomer again.
Yeah.
Be aware that distance is not distance here in the Philippines. Like like for instance, like what 200-mile trip is like a 2-hour trip in the U.S.
Right. So
Here?
it's not that close. And by
A
the
200-mile
time
trip, you're already in Visayas.
by the time they bring those vegetables
and what I'm saying
here,
is
it's
that's
still
days.
coming in. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
still a market.
No, it's nearby, but it's not nearby.
No.
Yeah.
So no, you would think so, but if we were in Baguio, yes. But in my opinion, even getting it in Baguio, there's still a cost.
Yeah, put it this way, like
I thought things would be way cheaper here when it came to vegetables. It is not Mexico cheap vegetables. We used to hardly pay anything for vegetables in Mexico.
Yeah.
I didn't see no damn vegetable farms in there.
yeah, distance is very misleading. For example,
Yes, guys, thank you.
Um,
Hit the like.
because when we moved here in this area, we moved literally a kilometer away from our other location. When we moved here, since we just moved, of course I would shop in that area because I'm used to all the people there. And then on my way back here, it took me a frigging hour. Guys, 1 kilometer. Not a mile, a kilometer. One time it took me 1 hour.
Are you signed into your own account or the other one?
That's yours. No, that's so what I'm saying is distance is not like don't think of distance in the West or whether you're in Europe or in Australia or in America or in
it
Canada.
takes
It's not
longer
the
here
same. It
for-
takes longer here.
If the product is made in Philippines, it will most likely be cheaper. Yeah, a lot of the products are imported. Another problem is it depends on the product. I have found that when I'm trying to get items that should be cheaper here, to me, in my opinion, bananas and coconuts should be. But I just got a jar of coconut oil, and it still cost me $14 in the Philippines. And to me, that is astronomical. So I would have thought that stuff wouldn't have been like what it was in the U.S. at that time. To me, certain products, even if they are here, are costing more. I can get the inexpensive coconut oil that's not like hydrogenated, or like if I'm wanting more of a solid form, say for the chocolates or other things that I'm cooking that calls for it. And depending if it's organic or not would make a difference, but I'm not exactly worried about organic when I use chemical soaps. But it's, I am finding like some of the coconut, it depends on where you get it at.
Yeah, but
And I couldn't even find shredded coconut in the stores. It's weird what's in the stores sometime, which is the out of stock thing. That's our real quick on the
Okay.
side note. Our last part will be out of stock.
Dried shredded coconut. I mean, just to clarify, because some of you will go inside here in the Philippines. Say, oh, that's easy. You just go to the supermarket, go to the market,
and then
No,
grab
no.
one. Yes,
The
no, they have a
dried coconut
already
Yeah,
processed, and a lot of
not
people
the
process it.
kaliwait ang kahit ang kudkud, as they say that, not because the shredded coconut kudkud. You actually go to the market, and then there's usually somebody there with a machine. It's like a bulb of teeth, and then they put the coconut. Yeah, they go and they go
Like you did to me this morning?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yes.
He's a beast.
But yeah, no. She's talking about the dried ones, the one that you flakes, coconut flakes.
What was we looking for the other day that you couldn't find when you went in the store?
Well, that's the thing. Like, for example, we're right by SM Hypermart, the SM store. The stuff that Heidi's looking for is in Metromart. That's the Marquee Mall store. Yeah, that's
Not every store has
not-
common
yeah.
like the U.S. Like everything will be at, say Publix,
yeah. It's the coconut. It's the
Walmart.
dried coconut.
There was some other things.
The
I
dark
think-
chocolate. The dark chocolate that you sprinkle in or break apart and use to bake with. Yes, I'm familiar with that. I bake cakes. Remember?
Yes.
No, no.
There were a few things. I think
But no,
peppermint.
I think
and-
we saw that at Metromart, not on this one.
I get it. Well, that's not my
Yeah.
out of stock situation. When it comes to, and hi, sweet Caroline.
Sweet dot.
The out of stock thing has to be another unwinnable battle here because it's not only stores or the market itself or a mom and pop sorry store, even worse, because it's weird. They either have an extreme amount of junk and then the one things you're not needing, or you have the localized stores that are out, and even online through Lazada, I'll find that things that I get on a monthly basis, I have to wait a little bit. Like we were on one set of pet food for a while and then couldn't find it. The local pet food people didn't have it. So I know most of it is down to the imports or being on an island. Here's my concern with what's going on in the world and possible WW3 wrestling match with me and George, WW. Is that if anything happens, we believe the supply chain will be the worst affected if the U.S. and everybody gets involved in some sort of little battle. And with the supply chain thing like that, we've been trying to stock a few extra items in case we have to actually do it that way. But I know it's a supply chain. Do you feel it's only a supply chain when it comes to the out of stock and not being able to get the things you want? We're not talking about being a snooty expat and you couldn't get, spotted dick. I had spotted dick last week. But you see what I mean?
It's okay.
Until George went to the clinic.
Have you had spotted dick before me?
Yes. Of course, I'm in the UK and yeah.
Okay. For those of you who don't know what spotted dick
Previous
is,
British
it's cake.
boyfriend.
It's cake. Okay, it's a British cake. Spotted dick is British cake. But anyway.
Yeah, we're not talking about like that out of stock. There's Australian stores and foreign stores.
Yeah. If you want
It's
spotted dick in
matter-
the U.S., go to Publix. They have it.
So the out of stock, do you feel it's only because they can't get it on a boat, or do you think that's operator errors? You know how they got 15 employees in the milk department here and
It's both.
managers
It's
that
both.
don't show up. So yeah, you have kind of a
both.
quitting
'Cause-
syndrome
'cause
of the
remember,
employees.
so-
Silent quitting managers is like, screw that.
Yeah.
I'm not ordering that cottage cheese this week. Oh my God. And watch for stuff that is literally going bad. It's like half the time they don't pull bad stuff, bad meat, bad dairy items. It seems like
But it doesn't go bad though. It just gets fermented.
it's better with age,
Yes.
like your spunk on the wall that I let the cats chew on.
Yes. Let it turn into sour cream.
Didn't turn into sour cream. It turned into Play-Doh.
Sour cream for you. Sour cream for you. Sour cream for everybody. Sweet Caroline.
Does your mom know you do this?
Oh, well, duh. I'm George.
Just George.
Kid in every state.
That is true. So all of our bedding, including mattress and pillows, premium quality at SM.
Yeah, SM. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we got ours. But what's the first thing I did when I got that bed? And we did pay a pretty penny.
Yeah, this is Serta.
Yeah, it
It's a
did
Serta
not
mattress,
feel
yeah.
like the bed that I had in the U.S. It was a little different for me. And
Well,
I
it's not.
complained
It's
forever.
not the Serta that you're used to. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, there's different levels. I mean, I used to sell beds, so yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to pay. And now, even in the last 5 years, there's been more and more places. And I think since we've been here, they've brought in what is that big furniture company, IKEA? I don't think IKEA was in Manila 5 years ago.
No, it's new.
Yeah, there's a lot of new. Like I've noticed in 5 years, like stuff that was not here. It's like the pandemic and after has brought these items in. There's been more and more upper class things and everything else. So it's really nice.
Yeah, if you're looking for a bed, yeah, come to me. I know where a good lay is.
Yeah, I wish I could find one. Even Margarita Station, who is starting all over again in their location, the business has been, when the U.S. bases were active. Yeah, they moved to another one for multiple reasons, but somebody said it looks like they're dying inside there too. I just couldn't imagine. I think most of the guys that come here, we talked about the stages of retirement. I think when they get here, they just get a wild hair up their butts to start these businesses. They're bored because I can't imagine that even Margarita Station is making a ton of money.
You get an itch,
Well, yeah, it's like you're starting to wonder what you did with your life, why you're in the last quarter of your life, and now some of it's out of necessity because they start to have kids, they get married, and things in their countries weren't exactly the best. They find love, they get second hope, and
well, not to mention you do get the locals nudge at you. They'll be like for instance, when me and Heidi first moved here in this area, they kept nudging me to open up a sari store. True story.
I still think the bacon and the candle thing. Hey, you know what? I think I'm just gonna sell like.
That's probably why our neighbor probably opened up a sari store, then closed it down.
I think
after they spent tons of money on it.
There you go. Maybe I'll just open up the bacon and chocolate and the wasabi and calamansi candies. Just make 2 different types and do 2 different types of candles, and we just start selling them a couple times a year. Make some love baskets for But see, if you're going to do something like that, like I've joked about this, and now that I've got some free time, I can do it, but you better do it out of pure fun, because the chances of me getting, like, I bet, let's say the cost is 500 pesos, literally in materials, the basket, the wrap, everything, the chocolate materials, and the candle, because candles, if you do the soy wax ones, are going to cost. If it's already $500 in cost, forget about your time. Then it's I don't think you can actually charge 700 pesos for something like that, because that's a day's wages for a lot of people in this area and Angel City. So it's hard to get value back, and then that's when things really start to slip, because a lot of your sales are going to be to Filipinos. You know who I'm surprised that's still alive is that New York wrap guy. All he does is sell the salads and wraps, and that's it, and it's healthy food.
Yeah, but he gets expat
for now.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that means he, in his community where that bar is, salad bar, is in an area of expats.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, and he's probably the only one too. And what I'm saying is, again, that hotel, again, unfortunately, it's competing with both sides of the coin of the hotel business, the high end ones and the low end ones, and that's a hard sell.
It is. Do you guys know the difference between Gcash and Maya? They're the same. They're still
practically the same.
They're still a digital wallet. Most places take both. I think the Gcash is more accepted.
It's kind of like weird. It's weird.
We have both.
Gcash is more accepted, but if you go in the mall, they usually operate under Pay Maya. It's kind of weird. I don't get it.
We
but-
stick with the Gcash
We use
because we've
Gcash.
tied other things. Like if we get money in PayPal, it'll transfer over to Gcash.
Not to mention, Gcash is a lot easier to load than Maya because there's Gcash everywhere. Like what I'm saying is to load it.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Although we have a Maya account, I think you can add a bank account and transfer it. Here's the thing:
Oh
we
yeah,
have
yeah.
two different banks. When we've tried from Metro to deposit into Gcash, it's almost rare that it goes through. It keeps bouncing
Well,
out.
we have two different Philippine banks, but we have several accounts. Yeah.
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 Brownout.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of brownout, I want to mention the, I guess, Prime Water or the water. There was a celebrity recently. I only have part of the story. I read it because it was in the newspaper that I guess a celebrity, they've got their little blue check next to their name, complained about the water company and
We have a check next to our name.
they had it.
Does that mean we're celebrities?
Do you mind? They complained that there was water pressure issues
Where?
in Makati.
Oh, no.
And she's a rich, I hate to say it, she's one of those,
Yes.
it's what they call hoity-toity, nose
Not
job,
possible.
bleached out Filipina. Babe. Hoity-toity, bleached out Filipina. Where her nose has
Water
been done
pressure.
and everything. Yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But do you know what her prime complaint? Makati.
No. I mean,
In a high rise. In a high rise. But here's the thing. She's water pressure.
Yeah.
But they're having issues. But here's the thing. Water pressure is everywhere. I
Yeah,
get it's part of their problem. But you know what her
everywhere.
complaint was?
Yeah.
She received an electric or a water bill for 197 pesos. And she had been gone. She complained about 109.
That's true.
It's no, yeah, but
she
it's
shouldn't complain
normal
about it.
because there's a service charge. We
Yeah,
get
there's still-
charged 200 here at our place.
No,
even if
you
we
pay
don't-
for it even in the U.S.
Yes, electric and everything.
Even if you're gone, you
no,
still get
she
a.
she threw a fit about the
No,
about that was her main complaint, and then she said there was no
even
pressure.
in the U.S., there's that minimum fee. I think it's $60 or something like that.
Victoria's
minimum.
like no pants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
actually, it's so you don't look. I definitely ain't got no bra on, and you guys
'cause-
definitely don't want to
and
see
if you
that.
don't pay that fee, you get disconnected.
It was just a useless complaint. She did it for clout. She did it to show people she was trying to stand up to something. And Prime came through and said, now, if you have the power outages all the time like we do here, their ass needs to do something about that. Like we lose power a few times a month. More and more places are losing power. And it's like it goes down all the time. But there are limits to the electric
If you
company.
live in Johannesburg, Africa, in the nice area where the expats are, they lose power half the week on a regular basis.
India is the same way. They only have power first thing in the morning in good,
Yes,
expensive,
and
rich places.
That's
So I
what
became grateful
that's what
for
I'm saying.
about a half
It's
a minute.
Be aware that it's worse somewhere else, and it's really not that bad
Oh,
here.
I can still see it. Sarah says she's on her other channel, the retirement channel. Yeah, I think we're calling it the retirement Philippines Live. We do have a second channel that's been
13 of
running.
you are on that channel.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
no, we
13 of you are on
appreciate
that
it.
channel.
It actually helps if you guys go to the second channel. If you just put in Philippine Antics, the other channel will show up. That's where we were dropping expat videos versus putting it on here. Like this has mostly become a live stream channel. And that's where we started dropping the pets because we did have a pet channel. And beings are people like the pets, we kind of combined it. And it's been
Aw.
the second channel that broadcasts. But yeah, no, that's how they sleep. The babies will sleep. They'll be up in a little bit like little monsters.
It's so cute.
Let's see, Sweet Carolina. I get mine from home along beds near me. We got the hop along bed guys that go through the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They sell beds. They walk around carrying beds, and they sell them. And they do this on a regular basis, on a daily basis. It's amazing.
Well, when they do the chairs and furniture,
Yes,
and they come
they-
through the same neighborhood, you got to give it to them because I'd have done it for 3 days, and I'm like, screw this stuff. I'm going to Walking Street. There ain't no way I'd keep carrying around a mattress on my back. I said, I'm gonna go get me a 2-for-1 over there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take.
You haven't even used that room that I bought.
Yes, I have. I do take that down all the time. It
you
does.
do.
I used it to go around here, and actually, I want one for the floor because when I use that rotten little broom of mine, it doesn't get everything. I use that one on the floor too.
Yeah.
And when I go through, it's a lot quicker and wider to grab everything. But no, if I had to walk around with those real quick on those mattresses, I'd be charging people for the mattress along with what's going on, then make it disposable. They can throw it out afterwards.
Yeah. No, I got that broom from Tata. He was walking around selling it. That's why I brought. That's why I'm asking you. Yeah.
It says, George, you made me spit out my coffee all over the living room when you talked about cottage cheese. Looks more like Play-Doh once it dries out for the freaking cats. Like I said, as a prepper, how do you shop for canned food items to stockpile? How often you do it and throw it away? Well, here's the thing. We'll hold on to stuff for a year. We have an extra oh shit bag, but now we have an oh shit box. By the way, watch out for the items that get sold online that shows you a box of something, because midsection and small writing, those water pills where I said we ordered 6 boxes, it wasn't 6 boxes, it was 6 pills that showed up for that price. They showed the box and not an individual pill, so they're kind of sneaky on that.
Yeah, I was.
And there was 3 paragraphs, and at the very bottom it says this is an individual pill, and it's like, I'm ADHD, man. I'm gonna skim and move on.
Yeah.
But they showed the box, so we do have the water pills. We right now are stocking up on things that'll last even longer, and then we double bag it, like George's face last night.
Meatloaf and corned beef, they last about, what year is it? 25.
I know Spam and those, like we have the corned beef. Yeah,
about 4 or 5 years, depending on the brand.
Yeah, even after the expiration.
Oh yeah.
We
definitely.
have mung beans. We have lentils, which is high in all vitamins. And we have now we're stockpiling on like seeds and nuts, pumpkin seeds, things that have a lot of vitamins, protein, and oats, dry oats, things like this that we know if we set a fire outside, like if everything disappears and the electric drops out here in the next 6 months, then we'd be ready to go. Plus, I eat it on a regular basis. So that's how we're swapping out, because it used to be in Florida, you had everything of different types, but you was also eating.
We're out of beanie weenies. Huh?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, since I cut back, George has been cutting into the stockpile that Ted had sent us in the last Billy Buying box, and and you had the last of the raviolis too.
Yeah, because here beans and beans are common. I'm not talking about pork and beans because there's no pork in
now I just recently
it says
started
pork and beans, and then I see something that looks like pork and beans, and then when you eat it, it's like, huh? Did I eat something?
It's much better. I'm much happier with doing my own home cooking, and so that's what I'm stocking with. I'm not doing a lot of canned foods. Tuna is the other one. I look at the expiration. You got to figure that's going to last. That's just a suggestion. So a lot of the tuna, the Spam, and the Chinese canned processed ham and all of that is not a norm that we would eat, but in case of an emergency, then I'm going to feed it to George as it's
expiring. What I saw today? Chicken meatloaf.
In a can?
Yes.
Yeah, I got the Chinese one. That's what one of those are chicken. So that's what we've been doing.
Have you ever gotten those chicken in a can? No. Honestly.
No, you? Yes, George. You know what I found out the other day? That when the government in the 70s and 80s, I think they stopped maybe even by the 90s. Do you know when they gave out that government cheese?
Yeah.
And they did have chickens in a can. They had ham in a can they gave away. So my mom near Christmas time used to get like the government extra stuff. And do you know why they gave away those items?
No.
They were meant for the military. The government started to buy excess from farmers that they were supplementing, and they bought most of their products back then, turned it into cheese. The biggest thing was the government cheese. Do you know that they stored that in oversized caves in America? They were storing cheese so bad it was about ready to go bad. And when they I want to say it was probably late 70s and 80s, they started giving out a ton of cheese, and I was like, "Oh man, we hit the jackpot!" It's like I sitting there gnawing on the corner.
Go bad. Yeah.
They had so much cheese they started giving out. It was meant for the military and for whatever war they thought was coming, and it didn't. Yeah. And they started giving it away.
How big are those chicken in the can? I honestly don't know.
It changed. I know they're
actually full size chicken. Basically, I mean, chicken.
I think it's processed. They weren't
shrink.
always.
I get it. Well,
They compress them. I think they took the bones out and everything. They don't have bones in them that I remember. It's just I think they stripped the bone and then shoved the rest of it in there.
really?
Yep.
Hmm.
I don't remember it having all of that. So.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, I saw chicken meatloaf today, and I was like, what the freak is this?
No, I would think that too. A laundry business might be a good business, but then again, yeah, no, there are so
okay.
many of them.
You
just
know what's
as many
going to
as
hurt you in a laundry business? Now, is
somebody
it a good
opened
business?
one right across the street.
Well,
like
they're
that.
everywhere.
Yeah.
No, really, they are. And again, that's again up to you. Electricity.
Yeah.
If it's not electricity, it's gas, because you have to choose your poison, as it were. Because remember, electricity is expensive, but so is gas. So either you choose electricity for electric dryers, because your real issue is the dryers, not the wash part, not the water. Your real issue is the dryer. So you choose your poison. Either you choose to spend money on electricity for the dryers, or you get propane and propane accessories. You know what I'm saying? You
And then
pay
it
for
costs-
gas, right? And it costs just as much, because me and Heidi, when we got the generator, I did the math, and I'm like, man, it costs more if I run the generator. Because it crossed my mind, like, I wonder what's cheaper if just run the generator and live off the generator.
Yeah, because we used to run. Yeah, because we've had 12-hour power outages and we
Right.
run the AC.
But no, it costs more to run the generator.
By the gas, because
Yeah.
people forget it's 3.7 and then a liter, so it's still almost $4 a gallon here for gas, which I still will never process. I don't care how much OFW money comes in. I don't care if there are 12 people living in a house. How the Filipinos afford things here, because I'm still not with the OFW money and how they keep cars and motorcycles.
Well, and
Like when I seen the floods in Manila and these other places just in the last week or so, you see all their cars underwater in the same neighborhood. So what? They just trash them out. They're not insured. I guarantee most of them doesn't have insurance.
well, even if
on it.
they do,
How do they
it's
keep
not covered.
replacing this? Right.
Most of these are not covered by insurance.
All
so.
the damage, all the infrastructure damage, all
I
the
mean,
vehicle damage,
think
all
of-
the household stuff. How do they keep rebuilding?
Think of all the tricycle drivers.
It's like there's infinite money is the way I look at it. Even if it's poor man infinite money. Even if you just get a mattress on the floor and
That's an oxymoron. Poor man infinite money.
you get what I'm saying.
No, I get it. It's just funny if you analyze it like poor man
But it's
infinite
true.
money.
Think about it. They're always flooded out. I was like, how the hell?
You wonder how they survive. For example, remember when I was talking
here's months
about
that we're scratching, and
Well,
did we buy something
here's an
extra or
example,
stockpile
okay?
food? Yes, but we don't have going to Japan money.
look, forget
So to them, they think we do.
well, forget disasters. In certain areas, the jeepney stopped running. Okay?
Yeah, that's her name. Yeah,
So-
it seemed like she was whining. Yeah.
So the jeepney stopped running in certain areas. But guess what? People still work at night and go home at night. So there's no more jeepneys. And guess what? What they do? They take a tricycle. And guess how much that tricycle costs? 500 pesos. I'm not joking.
It's Tagatai that the girl lives
Yeah,
in.
so I know that's what I'm saying. I know the price
All
and
the
I know the
services
story,
are
and this is
bad.
not
And she's Filipina. She knows. Oh, sorry.
okay. So again, forget the disasters. Again, this is happening right now on people that I know. The Jeeps stop running in certain times. In certain areas, it's around 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, 7. That's early. And people get off work around 8. And guess what? They can't go home because of the Jeep stop. What do? They take a tricycle. And how much is a tricycle ride? 500 pesos from their job to to their house. Now, the reason why I brought this up is Heidi Sama, how do they survive? Well, guess what? They're lucky if they make 500 pesos that day. Think about it.
I haven't been able to figure out.
Right. It's even I'm
Even
like,
if you have 5 people in the house,
I'm like,
that's
wait a minute. So
still-
that means she just basically worked for free.
And a lot of them, what is the Filipino word for when they keep borrowing and stuff? And
Utang?
yes, it's really bad here in the Philippines. And the gambling habits some of the
Right.
Filipinos have. It's a mix that's
Same-
hard.
Yeah, in these businesses, I do the math. Well, any business, usually when there's a business, except for Drake, I didn't analyze it because I don't know nothing about hotels, so I can't calculate. Whenever there's a business, even in the U.S., I look at that business, I think of the cost, and I do the math, and I'm like, okay, this business is gonna crash in 3 months, whatever. Here, you can't do that because I do the math. I'm like, they're not making money. Period.
I just
I'm
don't know.
like-
I lose sleep at night.
My brain's like, there's no way they're making money. There's no way. I swear, Filipinos want to work for free. I swear to God.
Something like that. Bookham Dano said, sorry, store potato chips are great after they've been expired. Yeah. Well, like I said, don't expect the sorry stores or certain stores that have anything but junk. It's kind of odd. Try to find something healthy at a sorry store besides the bottled water. What else is healthy?
Your cowboy chips.
Yeah, the cowboy on the chips is healthy.
No. There's this potato chips here. It's patatay, which is
It's
potato.
got like this white
And
cowboy on the
there's this white cowboy with his shirt off.
So I was buying him chips up. I had to have some eye candy.
He's like,
yeah, he's got his hands on his
cowboy
head.
hat, and I'm like, what the?
We both were like, "What's
What
with
does
the
this
white
have
guy
anything to do
with the potato
with the
chips?"
potatoes? If it was a farmer, I get it, but it was a cowboy.
Yeah. Hi, from Queens, New York. I remember the cheese. They said it was government surplus. Yes, it 100%, and they gave it away forever. It wasn't a short period. My mom, they actually had the potatoes in a can. So if you know, you know. Okay, so even families back in the 70s and 80s that had some income still ended up with these at different points. And then WIC came along and all these other things down in programs. But I remember they had potatoes in a can, like church giveaways and stuff. Like when you'd go in at the holidays and they'd give you extra food and Christmas packages. They have you sign up. Like Salvation Army would mention sign-ups at the church. My mom would sign up and they would give her boxes of food. Remember, there was like 6 or 7 of us kids, and my mom was single back then. So, and there was potatoes in a can, there was the chicken in a can, and it always seemed like she had that damn government cheese, and you couldn't. It was hard to cut, but I was like, oh, your keys. But yeah, people did line up, and I think Ronald Reagan was president. Yeah, like I said, they gave it away with other things. They were all in silver cans. Sarah says, yeah, I don't trust those cans with the pull tops, recontamination. I just get worried about being cut, or the tab would always come off. They were always scary, but they have a lot of those
Dang,
now.
Sarah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, the recontamination, yeah.
Yeah, because usually when you pop it up, it goes back in a little bit. Never thought about that. Thank you.
So yeah, the last thing that we did talk about was the out of stock, and that we covered as first one was skin tax and being overcharged, the bringing the mental health and the stress and the other things that you're already going through, and it bleeds out onto the Filipinos or other expats, or your ability to adjust to the country, and then out of stock, which becomes an issue, an unwinnable battle. Might as well go for it. And it's weird how you can go through all of these and there's 20 other things that can go wrong, and then it's something simple that will cause the expat to up and leave. Now I know that Sunshine Shoulders, Calvin, is now officially deciding to live in America and the Philippines, and he gave his reasonings, but it just depends. Sometimes the Philippines just wears you down. There's a lot going on. That's why a lot of Filipinos are leaving. Besides the job situation, there's a lot going on, even for a Filipino. And then the last one that we said was loneliness or feeling like an outcast, like Calvin said. Maybe he wants to hang out with black people. Maybe he wants to hang out with his family. Maybe he's missing the other family. When you're not seeing familiar faces or people of your own stature or people that, you're not going to always find people that like to play chess, pool table. I know they have pool table here, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is things that Filipinos may not do than people, say, in the UK are doing that UK people like. They may want to play nothing but darts all day and drink certain beers. What I'm saying is there's still a like-mindedness. You had to miss some of that in the US, George. Like when you left the Philippines, there had to be something. You can't say that the loneliness or the likeness of your friends that you were used to, that didn't bleed out into us hillbilly Americans. There was nothing that you missed about Asians or Filipinos, or I talked about that the time before.
I miss stuff, but I don't miss.
You didn't miss your friends?
Not really. I made new ones right away.
Well, you're a different Filipino. Korean.
Even my daughter asked me like, "You know this guy?" I said, "No, I just met him today."
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. So the loneliness thing will come along when you miss your family. And then I think it does push guys into the hookups, besides them just wanting to hook up their men. And so I know I missed my family a lot, and I don't know so much about missing the country these days, but the family. And I don't miss the cost. There's a sticker shock. But these are the unwinnable battles we wanted to talk about today.
Well, I mean, I do miss stuff. Like for instance, like when I was in the U.S., obviously, when I go whenever I'm near a Filipino store, I go to it right away because, for example, usually in Filipino stores they sell like Filipino
Right.
barbecue, stuff like that, and it's not the same. American barbecue and Filipino barbecue are like
Difference of day and night.
yeah. So of course, I miss the certain foods, certain like the palabok, or pancit luglug as it were, whatever. That it's our version of
Hi, Mike
spaghetti, I
and
guess.
Venus.
But point being is,
Isn't
I
it,
missed that.
Mike, your birthday is this month. I believe yours was in July, wasn't it? Or did it pass? I was thinking his birthday was in July. Hey.
Michael Johnson.
What is going on?
Yeah, for those of you who don't remember Michael, he's the one that's
Music
all locked up.
promotion.
Yeah, and then his warden Venus.
Venus,
Yeah.
yes. Beautiful couple. All right, well, I think we'll wrap it up so that way you can eat your garlic nut chocolate lemon cake all together.
I already ate
early birthday
half
cake.
of it, so in case you guys are wondering why it looks funny, I
Yeah.
already ate half of it.
Well, you ate the chocolate too. There was actually homemade chocolate
It's actually really
candy
good.
in it.
Yeah,
So-
Heidi made it. It's sugar free. You really can't tell it's sugar free. It's kind of scary. You can't tell it's sugar free. Same thing with her homemade Oreos. They're sugar free, which is it's scary. It tastes like Oreos.
There's no aftertaste. So I don't use
they
stevia.
taste
I use the other
like
one, the
Oreos,
erythritol.
and they feel like Oreos. It's
Yeah, not everybody can
say
handle
goodbye,
the sugar.
guys.
Yes, guys. We appreciate you guys coming in. Catholic Charities give it out once a month in box food with the blocks of cheese.
Oh,
and
they
years
did?
ago, they had
Oh.
the big cans of chicken. Yeah, I think they're still actually doing it and stuff.
Oh, you know what I miss?
Okay, December. I was thinking yours was July for some
One of the things you
reason.
won't find here. Now I miss this, even in the U.S. I miss this because I stopped going to them. Food pantry.
Yeah. Well, they had the ones where you could go in and trade things or work for it. Those are the ones that I
Food
knew
pantries.
about.
I miss food pantries, and it's not because I wasn't poor or anything like that. It was just cool to me. It was cool.
Yeah, how they have them. Oh, yeah, they got a lot of them in the
Yeah,
US,
like
so-
one time, for $20,
Yeah,
it was a
that's-
whole box.
Yeah, that's a little different. That's the one
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Yeah, you can actually pay for it,
Yeah.
and then you'll get a bunch of vegetables in
And-
that.
and you
it
don't know
helps out the
what's in it.
charity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get like a bunch of bacon.
Yeah, he's talking
you
about
know?
the one. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one I'm
and
talking about.
then
Then there were the ones where that's the one also in it's some of them charged a certain price, and you had to put volunteer work in. So it had
okay.
both. You'd have to go.
No, they probably did that
and-
too, but like I said, it wasn't like I was poor, and then I just thought it was cool as heck.
Yeah.
You get random cereal, random stuff. Yeah.
Jolly Bee time. Yeah, I have to give that up. There's too much salt in there, big time. See you later, Slick Rick. Thank you for everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marion Habera. Thank you so much, Gio.
Thank you so much for supporting the channel and our birthday month so much. We appreciate everybody being here.
Thank you so much, Linda Catalano. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Sarah, Ted was in the house, all of our members. Brian's in the house, Philly in the Philippines. And Victoria, thank you so much. And everybody else. Thank you guys. And we will see you. Actually, we're not creating on Thursday because we have a few things for our birthday month up and coming. Isn't that also closer to the 4th of July? But
I thought we
should be back Saturday.
We may not. I don't know.
No, Thursday
Maybe.
we're out. Wednesday and Thursday we're supposed to be out.
You
One
sure?
way or the one way or the other. Yes, we have to. We have schedules both those days. So we'll be back Saturday, or it'll just be me on